VOT International stock plummets as shocking truth is revealed about using Compound V to make superheroes. Reports show unusual trading may indicate foul play, with some investors earning huge profits off the steep downturn.
Welcome everyone to Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. We got another day with 5 games to go. My name is Frost and today I'm going to be joined by Krot Stuff. How are you doing today, Krot?
Doing a lot better than last night, and a big shout out to you and Lark for holding down the fort last night. Much appreciated, and what a fun cast it was.
Yeah, it was some great games. I mean, I feel like the games has been a little bit all over the place when it comes to Snapdragon Conquest Master Series overall. Like, sometimes you just get those super serious games, but a lot of the times it's also just like hot drops, and it feels like they don't really care. They're just like, all right, let's just get this over with.
You're just dropping in, fragging out. I noticed that a lot of the games yesterday were very fast paced, and you know, we had a lot of big circles when the game was coming to fruition. Just very fast paced and fragging. But I mean, Snapdragon Conquest Master Series, it's what a perfect chance just to frag out and just get yourselves into that. For of course we've got Pro League, and it's not going to be long until we get those World Finals coming up.
Yeah, I mean, 100% you can get yourself a lot of experience. But let's take a look at the format and how it's going to work out today. Of course, it is day number 6. And as per usual, we got the 3 different groups here. It's going to be Group A, B, and C that will be swapping around. And each game will have 2 of the groups. And today, we'll be playing on Sanhok and Miramar. It's going to be 3 games of Sanhok and 2 games of Miramar. What do you think about this, Krot?
So I haven't obviously watched a lot of competitive Sanhok for a while, but it's crazy fast games, and then obviously we've got the 2 Miramars to potentially draw things up. But I think it's going to be much of what you highlighted at the start. Very quick, very action-packed games.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, even on Miramar itself, like we saw that yesterday. We had 3 games of Miramar yesterday, and a lot of the times the teams would actually go pretty aggressive early on, already like in the beginning of the plane, basically jumping straight out, just going for the hot drop. And I guess if you want to do it that way, hey, go for it, right?
I mean, I'm all for chaos and action, so I'm not going to argue with the players' decisions to do this.
All right, let's take a look at the teams that we have competing here in Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. As you can see, some a little bit more familiar names, some are a little bit newer maybe to some people. And I mean, it's all fine. All you need to know is the teams are going to be the best, are of course going to be the Brazilian ones. Now, jokes aside, everybody got the chest, but currently the Brazilian teams are actually owning it.
Yeah, I mean, they're so dominant at the moment. And I again, listening to you and Lark last night, trying to back up some of the NA teams, the North American teams. But Brazil, they're just steamrolling. I don't know what they've got going on. I don't know what it is, but they're a different kind of gravy. They're a different league at the moment, and I think this is just them really cementing it as the leaderboard. Well, when I looked at it, it's just Brazil.
Yeah, just 2 words, just better.
Yeah.
Talking about the leaderboards, here's the overall ranking. In the top, we currently have VIVO, KEYD, of course, a Brazilian team. And underneath, you have another Brazilian team, and then another one, and another one, and another one. Until we got to 6th place, where you got the first non-Brazilian team. That's going to be Team KEYD. But it is pretty stacked towards the top, though.
Yeah, huge, and it's names that we're very, very familiar with by now. And there's a reason we're familiar with them. I mean, look at the numbers and the consistency. VIVO, KEYD, Influence, Rage, and Alpha 7 holding down 1, 2, and 3. And I mean, I wouldn't have put my money on anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, you just got to look at the facts. Alpha 7 has been a staple of the region for a very long time. Influence, Rage, currently the champions of the PNPL Americas. You have VIVO, KEYD, the PNPL Brazilian winners. Like, all of these teams are like super good. And I mean, it's not a fluke that we're seeing them here in the top, because it's time after time, every single tournament, they are going to be up there. It's kind of strange in a way, because you would expect the other teams to try to catch up to them and figure out, okay, what are these teams doing that makes them so good? But currently, I feel like we're not really seeing that, though.
Yeah, normally you see maybe 1, 2, 3 teams be very dominant for maybe a season, maybe 2 seasons before teams start VOD reviewing and finding out what is their secret, and then you get a little bit more of a power struggle. But these guys, they're just holding it down, locking it down consistently season after season, and I think that's got to be partly a tribute to just raw mechanical skill, because like you said, people in teams would catch up, would try and figure out what was their secret, and if they can't do that after 3 or 4 seasons of domination, it's got to just come down to the players being absolutely cracked.
Yeah, 100% agree with that one. Of course, when we look a little bit further down here, we have some more familiar names, of course. Some like Nova Esports has been dominating a lot over on the North America side, but then again, you also have teams like Infinity and MEZEXIS coming in from LATAM region, and ATON as well, down there on 16th place. ATON currently the champions of the PNPL LATAM, being on 16th place. I expect a little bit more from them. What about you?
I mean, being champions of a PNPL and then coming in and being in 16th, well, it attributes again to how strong the Brazilian teams are. But yeah, I'm expecting them to pick up the pace. And 16 matches down, you can start to get the meta of the lobby, and perhaps now start to establish yourself, dig your heels in, and start to catch up to those big Brazilian teams.
Yeah, and if we look a little bit further down here on the overall leaderboard, we can see the teams that definitely need to step it up a notch or 2 at least. And then all the way towards the bottom, we do have back-to-back still on 9 points. It's been 2 days they've been stuck down there with 9 points. I'm hoping that they can get 1 point today just to enter that double digits with all the other teams.
Yeah, I'm gonna take up Lark's position today and be back-to-back's cheering squad. And I definitely want to see them get into the double digits. I mean, especially considering the boys at the top, they're in triple digits, and it's we believe in you back to back. We got this. I'm sensing back to back wins tonight. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's a little bit too much. I say a little bit too much.
Imagine if they did it though.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, it is the first game, right? It is Sanhok, and anything could happen when it comes to Sanhok. Even back-to-back could get themselves a point. I don't know. They could. I'm just saying they could. I'm not saying they will. I don't think they will, but they could. What do you think?
Dreams come true. And there is a famous phrase, don't let your memes be dreams. And I'm sensing big things. I want them just to come in, hot drop. And they dug in. They're in the gamer chairs. They've had their G Fuel and they're ready for it. They're going to drop in and be a different kind of gravy tonight.
All right. So okay, I'm looking at the groups a little bit. I'm looking here what's going to happen. So back to back, of course, they are the big news right now because they're all the way in the bottom. They only have 9 points after 16 games, but they are playing here in the first game. Then they're sitting out in the next one. Then they're playing the next Sanhok in game 3. And then Miramar on game 4 as well. So they do have 3 chances today to get themselves or earn themselves 1 point. But you know what? It is time. Let's jump into the game. This is going to be game number 1 in day number 6 here of Snapdragon Master Series, Conquest Master Series. And yeah, let's see. The big question on everybody's mind. Are back-to-back going to earn themselves a point tonight?
We believe, but that plane path would go from about 7 o'clock all the way up to about 2, but very southern here. So the thing is with Sanhok is it's small enough and you can jump pretty much anywhere. So everyone should be able to go get looted and booted, or we're going to see some more of those hot drops that we're all too familiar with on Sanhok.
Oh yeah, it is for sure. Actually, look at things. Okay, it's pretty calm down on the south side this time on Sami. Yesterday, it was a little bit chaotic. All right, first circle has popped, and as we can see, it is leaning a little bit more towards the western two smaller islands, and that's not a bad thing. In my opinion, it's the more fun place to have the circle go towards. You have the trifecta where the river meets, and all of that stuff just creates more chaos and a little bit more of a gamble which island you want to be playing from.
Yeah, and I think if it does go to the northwest, bloodshed already starting.
Oh
and
no!
It is going to be Z8 on the rampage. One down, one elimination in the pocket already, and I think that was just maybe being isolated there. And Z8 decided, yeah, we're just going to get this easy point, free and easy. Two of them drop together, and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, the way she goes. So first one down, and they're looking for more. Actually, this is BULUC, CHABTAN, and ATON is fighting as well. Two big teams from LATAM fighting up by Cow right now. And yeah, it is a little bit of trades going back and forth, but right now, ATON is the one who's lost one player. M2M heals back up. He's going to be back on his feet.
I like this. More fights though, all across the
Even
map.
more.
Oh, WARMASTER gonna get that knock and flush on just a slither of HP though. Wins that one out. Oh, that was close.
That was real close. Actually, yeah, look at things. Nicholas was a little bit out in the depth here compared to where his teammates are. They're closer towards Paradise, and he's all the way out here on the eastern side. But this fight looks like it might be a stalemate here between ATON and BULUC, CHABTAN. None of the teams actually wants to make the next move. Want to see
I
the
like
other
the off
team.
angle player up on the rocks though.
Yeah, I
Just
think
on
it
the
was Monatia.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I remember the M.
He's up there. He's just holding an angle, but the whole thing is like no one wants to make the mistake. They want the other team to make the first mistake here, and they want to be capitalizing on that. ATON, of course, already lost a player, so BULUC, CHABTAN currently have one man up on them, but still playing it safe. I kind of like it.
I do like it. It's going to be whoever makes the first move. Oh, it has started,
what's
but no,
on?
that off angle player's gone down. That's huge, and now it is going to even up a little bit as now one knock coming down. We can see that big scary DBS though, but both of the members from BULUC are just sending it together, clearing. ATON do manage to get one elimination with the nade there, and they're holding their own.
Ooh, a lot of trades back and forth. BULUC, CHABTAN does have two members knocked, but currently there's only one ATON member left. It's Asta, there's last man standing. That's a S4K. Oh, it's 1 HP, if even 1 HP. I don't even know.
How is he breathing? That's not even 1 HP. I've
He's
never
healing
seen
up?
someone so lucky. No
Watch
way!
it, it's very low as well. Oh, Asta did get the heal off. Oh, he catches it out. So ATON
No
goes out
way.
as the winner of this one, I guess. In a way.
Asta holding it down on the most ridiculous minimal amount of HP I've ever seen in any game ever. Wow.
That was quite surprising, but at the same time, I mean, both of them were low, right? It was just a gamble. Do you take the healing or do you make the push? Asta went for the healing. Watcher went for the push, but the thing was that he delayed the push a little bit, and because of that delay, Asta was able to get that heal off and, yeah, basically able to tack a little bit more damage. So it was an easy win for him in the end there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. He maybe left it a little bit too long, just a second or two, and that's all it can take to be the difference between a winner and going out early. We do have 15 teams left, but I don't think ATON and Astaman is going to be left alone for long as the Black Dragons have now rolled up onto the hill. Exactly the same position on the off angle, just surveilling it from talents here and trying to get the information on all the bloodshed that's just happened up here. Of course, they would have seen the kill feed. They will know that probably there's only one, maximum two, if they were tracking it very diligently, players left from A7. So this could be just another early point on the board and then a free rotate in from the south, from the north east side.
Yeah, obviously we can see that Black Dragon set himself up here. They don't know exactly where Asta is. They know that there is at least one player left. It looks like Duck actually just spotted him there. and they have the information. They know someone's in town. And you can look that they triangulated the whole cow right now. So they're making sure that no matter where Asta is going to be going, the info is going to be there and he's going to be taken out because he doesn't know there's a full squad or a 3-man squad just outside town and just waiting for him right now. Also, on another note, though, something great to see is that Alpha 7 has gone back to boot camp. We saw them in PMPL Brazil where they lost boot camp to Influence Rage. Of course, Influence Rage is not in this game right now. They'll be playing later on. So maybe, I'm not sure if Alpha 7 and Influence Rage is going to be in the same group when it comes to a Sanok game. If it does, that would be interesting because we saw a lot of hot drops. Alpha 7 left it, and well, Influence Rage did win the PMPL Americas with bootcamp in their hands, so might be a fight between those two later on.
The trap is about to be sprung. Asta has no idea, just caught sleeping as Martin just comes up, and that's going to be as free as you like. And oh no, Asta, after putting in the work, gets punished for leaving. But yeah, I think you're right. A7, obviously last season, they had it a bit rough, and it was just hot drops. And seeing that they went away from it, and obviously they're now up in 3rd position, are they really going to risk that? Are they really going to risk it for hot dropping and potentially going out on a Sanok? It makes for an interesting dynamic, but it could all come down to their confidence. Are they back feeling themselves again? Is that why they're dropping boot camp?
I mean, the thing is, between Influence Rage and Alpha 7, it's currently 9 points between them. So basically, it's just whoever wins the Sanok hot drop is going to be the one who's going to go ahead of the other team. But again, they're not always going to be in the same group. So when we do have the Sanoks on and they're not in the same group, they can always go for boot camp. Like, they're probably not going to be contested by some other teams from the look of things. If Alpha 7 is getting for free right now, for example, it's a high chance that no one wants to go for it. A lot of people do expect a team like Alpha 7 or Influence Rage to be there, and therefore they don't even opt to actually practice to go there. Instead, they go somewhere else because that's how they know and how they want to learn how to play the game from.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more there. Has come to a bit of a standstill, though. We haven't really had anything. I think teams now kind of deciding or waiting for the zone to come in before deciding where they're going to send and how they're going to send. We are seeing teams set up on the bridge and on those rotation points looking for those free and easy kills, but we've got a little bit of silence here.
Yeah, everyone's just waiting patiently. Intense game, of course. They have a clue. I think they know that Black Dragons is around there. They heard him taking out Asta from ATON earlier, and they've been setting themselves up here, basically just holding the edge, make sure that their backs are going to be clean later on. Maybe when they need to swim across, we'll have to see if they need to do that or not. But for now, they're holding the edge there on the northern side, trying to make sure no one's going to get in. And that's basically what's happening right now. All the teams are just setting themselves up. None of them want to be super aggressive. The ones who were aggressive, they're already out, or they're taking out the other teams already. So right now, a team like VIVO KEYD, they're always going to be up here on the northwestern island on the top. But here we go. Oh, it's just one. Just one. Oh, wait.
There's another one in the blue. Has gone down. He's just trying to use that third-person perspective, trying to get a little bit of intel, jumping around, but it is going to be a free kill for now. The blue zone is coming in. They are going to have to start healing up, and it is going to force the agenda here as Intense just getting those boosters off and seeing if the players that they set up around the lumberyard can get the off angle and give it a little bit of support.
It's quite funny if you think about it. Black Dragon set themselves up to do a backstab on Asta when he came out from Cal. And then Intense Game set up a backstab trap for Black Dragons when they came out from there as well.
Is that what we call karma?
Maybe. Or just Sanok here in a nutshell. But the new circle has popped, and we're going to head towards the northwestern island. More or less 100% going to go there. Oh, Higor just takes care of Duck there. And Black Dragon's down to one player.
Alpha 7 now sending it across the bridge, getting onto the next island and moving as a pack, as a unit. And I like this. This is when I think Alpha 7 are the most deadly, when they move together.
It's quite funny when you look at the statistics here, where on eliminations, Alpha 7 is sitting on a 3rd place. And when it comes to damage, they're on the top. But survival, they're on 6th overall. And why this is kind of funny is like, sure, they're on third place on the overall leaderboard, so it should be pretty fine. But they are sitting basically 45 points behind VIVO KEYD, which is a lot. 45 points is basically, what, 25% of Alpha 7's points right now? So considering that they're still number one on damage, it's pretty insane.
Yes, really big numbers. It's just that survivability that they perhaps need to work on. And that comes down to even rotating late, being caught out, and just... We can see VIVO KEYD. I've seen them take the spot multiple times. Oh, great spray, great. Just jumps out the vehicle and absolutely slams it there. Going to get the instant flush as well. So points on the board now for Storm Gaming as they continue forward.
Nice to see Storm Gaming actually doing good here. I was hyping them up for PMPL Brazil, and they did not deliver back then, I'll tell you that. Now, this is looking like the Storm Gaming I was expecting us to see back then. So it's looking good. They're doing better. They learned some stuff from playing in the PMPL, despite them not making it to the Americas. But now, Team MANDRAKES, one of the teams who qualified their way in here to this tournament, is now taking on one of the big dogs, Alpha 7. It looks like it's Squash that is trying to get super close, while the rest of his teammates are a little bit further back. Squash is taken down, though. A little bit too aggressive. Rebel with the flank, of course. Good spot from Rebel there.
Rebel being on that side is going to be a horrible off angle that they need to worry about. More kills going on as the Korean barbecue lovers. I heard you talking about these guys last night a lot as well. And it looks like they are going to find out and punish just down to one member. Oh, it's not looking good. They were sitting on the top spot going into this section of the game, but now being squashed down to one lonely swimmer. Oh, shut down acid there. And Alpha 7, they are sitting pretty here.
Oh, Jordan gets taken down as well. I mean, okay, you were talking about karma. I'm just saying, it's just a train that keeps on going here. Now, I mean, Intense Game, who were holding out Black Dragons, that was holding out ATON, is now getting held out by Korean barbecue lovers. It just keeps on going. Who's gonna hold out Korean barbecue lovers now?
Yeah, it's just the train, and everyone's leapfrogging, holding these little traps, and then being rewarded for it, but punished in the next breath. The circle has shifted though, and it's come down south. VIVO KEYD with that high ground that we've seen them play time and time again. They're going to be licking their lips at the prospect of all the frags that are about to come their way from that high ground.
Yeah, and Alpha 7, they took care of Team MANDRAKES without any problem, actually. They didn't even get anyone knocked on the team, and I was quite surprised with that. We've seen Team MANDRAKES being pretty decent, actually. They've done some insane strategies and stuff like that. For a team coming in from the qualifiers, playing on this kind of level, it's quite unique, and it's kind of interesting because sometimes it goes like this, right? They just get wiped off the floor. But sometimes they are the one who's just dominating all the other teams. And that's what you love to see, right? A team coming from the qualifiers, just taking care of all these experienced, really good teams that everyone's looking up to. And they're like, who are these guys?
Yeah, we all love a little bit of an underdog story. And I mean, coming in from qualifiers, you're going to be the underdog coming in against names like this. But Team MANDRAKES, they're in 7th currently. So, yeah, they're putting on a show, but sometimes it does go the way that the big dogs, well, they're the big dogs for a reason, and they just absolutely turn MANDRAKES into chew toys.
Yeah. Talking about qualified teams, though, Storm Gaming is actually another team that is coming in here from the qualifiers, which is also, well, it's not as insane because Storm is kind of a staple in the scene itself. And the players themselves as well. Daden is like a former Loops player who used to play with the current Influence Rage roster and stuff like that. So it's not a surprise to see them doing good right now. It's a more of a surprise that, I mean, they didn't do good in the PMPL, I feel like.
Yeah, you seem hurt by that, but they're gonna prove you right this time. I feel it. They didn't show up, and now I think sometimes it's just about that chemistry and playing for. You might have a rough start of the season or a rough couple of seasons, but when it clicks, it can really click and it can change your fortunes in an instant.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. And yeah, I just want to see more from it. Honestly, I want to see more from it. I know they can give us more. I know they have more to give, and they can do a lot better. So that's all I'm asking for. I want to see more. But we got a new circle that's gonna be popping soon, and looking for things. We might go northwest again, and yes, it's gonna go straight north. This time around, there's a few teams outside the circle. Basically, everyone except for VIVO, KEYD, and Z8 is outside the circle and needs to make their way in. Korean barbecue lovers, they're going to come in from the north side. No problem at all for them. Now, a team like WARMASTER who needs to come in from the west is going to have a little bit more of trouble, especially the teams on the south as well, like Alpha 7, Loops, you got Storm. They all need to make it across the river first as well.
That was brutal. That was a 3-man team shot across the map there. Alpha 7, they're doing their best SEAL Team 6 impression and getting across the river. And I think they're going to be all right. They're not in anyone's lines of sight. It does look like other teams are just rotating, trying to get a little bit further into zone. So this is working out well for them. And again, we see them as that pack roaming together. But we've seen this circle a fair few times for us.
Yeah. A lot of times, honestly. And
VIVO, they're up the top. They're just loving life right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is their strategy, right? This is the reason why they drop here on the Northwestern Island, because this is one of the hardest circles, one of the roughest circles to get into if you don't have that high ground itself. That's why they love to do this. They know if they get the circle, sure, it's fine. They're going to have this game in the bag already. But if they don't get the circle on top of them, there's not too many teams that are Northwestern, so it's pretty easy to get away. But do you have a lot of action going on here? Loops and INCO right now battling it out in the middle of the circle here. They're both of the teams, they want this compound. It is going to be a really good compound unless you're VIVO KEYD. V2, last man standing here for INCO, does find one. Rebel from a distance is going to try to steal a few of the snocks on the outside as well. In the end, though, looks like V2 is still going ham inside there. VIVO KEYD is holding the high ground as well at the same time, and you can see they're taking shots, actually taking out 2 of the Alpha 7 players.
Huge, and this is just showing how powerful that high ground is. They're still managing to fend off the push and take names in the center of the circle in that fight that we were just watching. I love the swing with the full auto MK, but now a swing on the tree
It's
coming out. VIVO
well.
KEYD holding a line, 2 of them against the 3 stack, the 4 stack. One is gone down, but they are holding out. They are looking good here, looking to wipe things up, and that's exactly what they do. Going to be able to get the res office here as well here. So on that high ground, laying down the pain and keeping all 4 up. Alpha 7, they've managed to stabilize, and they only lost 1 player, even though they were picked apart down to just 2.
Yeah, it was looking a little bit grim, but they still have a rough path ahead of them moving into the next circle that basically is centered up. They still need to move towards the compound. We saw INCO, we saw Loops fighting just a few seconds ago. INCO did win that one out. You can see them there on the center of the screen right now. They have 2 men up. They did lose 2 players, but they have the compound, they have the circle, and if you're not VIVO KEYD, they are happy to be in that compound right now.
Yeah, very happy. They can sit there and they can use the overwatch of VIVO KEYD as well, just to keep them a little bit safe and stop any pushes or crashes coming in. So it's gonna be a very powerful compound, not only because it's just central and you can pick apart everyone, but you've also got an enemy providing you some of the best overwatch in the game.
Yeah, basically your personal bodyguards that is just sitting on the high ground, and that's a bad thing to have. Oh, 7 finds the angle, Mafioso there.
Through the window.
That's a pretty nutty play there. He does have 3 first aids, but that's not going to last him a long time. He might try to go for that flush on Mafioso, because if he does, Mafioso probably has some more first aids that he will need. Meanwhile, Alan from Storm is going to try to go towards the high ground, trying to make his way into the circle. 7 does secure the kill on Mafioso, but Cielo on the high ground taking care of Korean barbecue lovers like nothing. Gets a little bit of help from McGrellan together. Oh my god. VIVO KEYD is just on another level right now. 10 eliminations.
Wow. They're after chicken, but they've also got a little side order of Korean barbecue there. Oh my goodness. Just absolutely destroyed them. No.
He timed that wrong. He got the timing wrong, and he's down No. All right. Alan's going to be the last man standing for Storm Gaming then. We still have 6 teams in play. Talents from Black Dragons is healing on the outskirts. So that's at least one person healing. And then, let's see. There should be 2 more teams that is healing outside in the blue, actually. Yeah, MEZEXIS right. And Ground Zero. No, actually, Ground Zero is right there, getting pummeled right now.
Not having a good time. And again, I don't want to keep banging on about the high ground, but look at what it's doing, just picking apart teams. They're already on 10 eliminations. They are showing no signs of slowing down. And look at the map control they have. Exactly. Look at how they're spread out. Oh, they are, like you said, they're just on another level, man.
They have the high ground. Cielo is still on the ground level as well. And he's in the center of the next circle. INCO basically needs to push out from this compound. They don't really need to in the next circle. They still have one house that's going to be inside, but they need to make sure that their backs are clear right now. As we could see, Ground Zero Mercenaries are just outside on the east of there. And then there's a few solos outside healing right now. It's basically going down one after another. So, INCO. Oh, they find the knock on McGrellin. Look at Alan, though. Huge. Look at Alan. He's next to Adrian. He could be the spoiler. If he takes out Adrian on that high ground, he could turn the whole game around.
Oh, and he's going to do exactly that. That little vector ringing out. Oh, and it just so fast. Decimation drops off, trying to get down to his teammate. Not sure if that's going to go well. And MEZEXIS, well, trying to play the healing game. 2 members up from VIVO, and that high ground has now been lost.
Now, you see what just happened there, right? Adrian died when he was trying to get down here. Because it's so high that you need to heal up as well. Each and every time you take a little bit of damage. Not only that, but you have a team that knows that you're up here, and they're just waiting for it. Oh, if Alan finds...
That's a huge play.
But Alan is the one who's outside the circle. He's the first person that needs to move. And he's going to try to heal this off. He only got 3 first aids, but it might be enough to secure him another placement. I'm not sure, but we'll have to wait and see. Axel from MEZEXIS had 9 first aids. He probably used up about 4 of them before Alan started. So if that's the case, he should go down right after Alan, meaning Alan should get the 4th place for Storm Gaming. And we're going to see MEZEXIS getting the 3rd. And then we'll have to see who's going to get the chicken dinner.
Alan just having to go for any damage he can do, as that's it, out of it. Now as we go down to our top 3 teams, and it looks like, just managing to get the points.
I'd say I got that pretty right on spot there.
Bang on.
Yeah. All right, V2 needs to do something. He's the last one standing here. But he's not going to be able to do more than like shoot for a second before he's taken out down by the circle. He does get one.
No way.
Oh, he does turn, but he doesn't manage to get the second one. So it's going to be VIVO KEYD who's going to bring home the first chicken in here for tonight on Sanok itself.
Wow, that was close though. That nearly went the other way. We've had some absolutely insane plays at VIVO with another massive kill total on top of winning a game, and they are just looking so good.
I mean, like, it wasn't enough that they already had like a 50-point lead. They're just gonna extend that lead way further with that win itself, and right now it's looking grim for anyone who wants to even catch up to them. Even talking about teams like Alpha 7 or Influence Rage, like, they are so far behind now that it's going to be rough, because VIVO KEYD, even if they just don't have these kind of games, they still have very decent games all the time. Like, a bad game for them is basically 5 points. A bad game for other teams is 0 to 1 point.
Yeah, and I think there's a phrase that we use a lot in casting, and it's and especially in battle royals, and it's a bad game has to still have points on the board. Those 5 to 10 points on a bad game for you is what separates the good from the great teams. And VIVO KEYD just dropping a 29-point game in the game at number 1 of the day. Wow, they're looking so good. As we go down, INCO gets 16, Storm get 12, MEZEXIS get 11, Black Dragons get 9, Alpha 7 get 8, GZM get 8 as well, and those Korean barbecue lovers, they get 6 points.
Yeah, great to see you, Korean barbecue lovers, getting 5 eliminations on the board there. Of course, we have seen that in the previous as well, but the thing is that they need to be more consistent when it comes to that.
Woo!
We want to see them get more of that. But look at that, back to
Well,
back.
yeah, we got it. We
points.
got it.
Woo!
Yes.
They are
Let's
back.
go, baby.
They are back. Are they gonna do a back-to-back 1 point in the next game? Is that it? Is that it? They're on double digits now. That's a big thing.
Let's go. That's big, and that's
10 points.
Let's go back to back. We're rooting for you. And I mean, Team Mandrakes, we saw them set up. They had that huge fight with Alpha 7, and they didn't even get a point. Back to back, they're getting themselves into that double digits. And you know what? That might just be the confidence boost and that milestone that they needed for them to ignite the fire beneath them.
Yeah, it only took them 17 games to get 10 points in total. I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been 18 games before they got those 10 points. So, I guess, in a way, good job. But here's the team stats from VIVO KEYD. Of course, the chicken dinner winner here in game number 1 for tonight. 14 eliminations, as we saw. 1,822 damage. And the healing, 600 even. That's a nice number.
Well, that's a nice round number. We like those. We don't very often see those at all, do we, for us?
Not at all. Not at all. But I'm a little bit surprised they still took 600 damage. I guess, in a way, you saw some of them getting knocked, that they have to fall down as well from the high ground. But usually, the thing is that you don't see VIVO KEYD taking that much damage when they play the high ground itself, because they know how to play well, and they usually just peek it just to take a few, shoot a few bullets, and then they just go back into cover and never expose themselves. So that's why it's a little bit surprising that they took that much healing or damage to heal up.
Yeah, I mean, since we see them play up there all the time, I think teams starting to get wise to it now, and we saw them coming up behind them trying to get those knocks. But look at this, VIVO KEYD, VIVO KEYD, VIVO KEYD across the top stats here, and just looking so strong. We do have one of the ATON boys coming in with 4 kills, Alpha 7 as well. They got 4 kills, and then we got another VIVO KEYD and a Storm on 3 and 3, but 8 kills for Cielo.
Yeah, 8 kills for Cielo. I mean, in a way, sure, that is a lot, but I'd say 4 kills for Asa is pretty nice, considering that those 4 kills were the hot drop itself. So, I mean, let's take a look here on the overall stats for Cielo, the MVP, and of course, 8 eliminations. A lot, not that much damage actually, so maybe a lot of stealing going on here.
Yeah, again, just being on that high ground allows for them. They were picking up kills in that big fights that we saw between, I think it was Loops and INCO in that central compound just below them, and they were picking up kills on the outside of the building there. So, again, but eliminations are eliminations.
Yeah, points are points, and they're getting the points on the board. So, I mean, that is the main thing, right? You always want to see the points on the board.
And what do points mean?
Points on the board. Here we go. These are the points that are currently standing here in the overall ranking. And look at that. VIVO KEYD getting themselves another chicken dinner. They're catching up to INCO Gaming, who got 5 so far. And VIVO KEYD is the first one to reach 4 after INCO right now. And look, I'm just going to go ahead and say, looking at how things are shaping up, wouldn't surprise me if we see VIVO KEYD getting another chicken dinner here tonight.
Oh, not at all. The way that they were then, the ruthless team wipes that they had, whether it was just a solo or working in tandem together to stop a push, backstabbing them, they were just clinical. But the thing that I'm spotting out is Influence, Rage, and Storm. They're sharing exactly the same total, and then Alpha are just a single point behind them. So no matter that, VIVO KEYD have got a 70-odd point lead. Second, third, and fourth, there's a point between them, just a singular point.
One thing to take away from this is also that Influence Rage only played 16 games, so they're 1 game behind all of the other teams here, except for QUESO that is also on 16 games. So QUESO and Influence Rage, 1 match behind right now. They could catch up a little bit. Influence Rage could try to catch up to VIVO KEYD, but they're not going to get a 70-point game though. So they're not going to take the lead, but they can make some effort to close that gap a little bit. Moving down a little bit from 9 to 16 here, we can see that it's kind of the same. Not a lot has happened, right? And it comes down to how things have worked out. A lot of times we see the teams towards the top for a good reason. They are some of the best teams, and they keep on sponging up all of the points. And because of that, they're just going to keep on standing there towards the top. And once again, that's what we saw. And therefore, not a lot of changes here. Towards the bottom, though, this is the big one. The biggest of the biggest. Back-to-back on 24th place. Finally on double digits. 10 points on the board.
That's the only one that we care about, let's face it. At this point, we've been hyping it up. And it happened. We saw it in the very first game. How was it 2 days without getting any points?
Yeah.
Mate, I don't want to say anything, but it's the first game that I've cast with them. Mate, am I the good luck charm?
I don't know. If you want to count 1 point as a good luck, yeah, maybe. But you know what? We're gonna see if they can grab another point in the next game. But before that, we're gonna take a small break. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
International stock plummets as shocking truth is revealed about using Compound V to make superheroes. Reports show unusual trading may indicate foul play, with some investors earning huge profits off the steep downturn.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series, and we're done with game number 1. It was quite a spectacular one. We went to the Northwestern Island, and it was kind of all about VIVO KEYD in that one.
It was. They took the high ground early and just established dominance very, very quickly. We did see some interesting traps being set and some very, very nasty ambushes, but it kind of started a domino effect. The same thing happening to the team that set the previous one. So yeah, like you said, it was a very interesting and very, very good game for VIVO KEYD.
Yeah, and I mean, it was action from the beginning until the end as well, and it was going all over the place. We saw Storm gaming with Allen towards the end there, almost spoiling the game for VIVO KEYD as well. It was some great moments throughout the whole game. And but now though, we're gonna move over to game number 2, and it's gonna be Miramar that we have in front of us. But one thing to make sure that if you like PUBG Mobile and wants to play with high performance, you have to get a smartphone with Snapdragon processor. It supports HDR10, high contrast, and bright color depths. Gain quick touch and much more. Follow Snapdragon Official on Instagram and Snapdragon on Twitter to get the latest news on performance. And of course, without a Snapdragon phone, you're not gonna get the best FPS here on Miramar. What do you think about that, Carl?
FPS, frames win games is the phrase, right?
Exactly. Actually, never heard about that one before, but it sounds really
that's
good.
one of my favorite. Frames win games, baby.
So yeah, I guess there you go. The recipe for success. Back to back. Get more frames, aka get some better phones with some better Snapdragon processors in them.
Oh, maybe a processor that won't run as hot as the roast that you've just dropped onto them, but frames, they do win games, and Snapdragon giving you the best performance out there is definitely what you need to excel and potentially get yourselves on track to compete with teams like this. But we already have our teams established. We already have game number 2 up and running. It's Miramar. We got the sand between our toes, and we're ready for some action, fellas.
Yes, indeed we are. Coming in from, let's see, this looks like the northern side. Yeah, northern side going straight down, actually. It's going to be quite interesting, of course. It is Miramar, much bigger than Saddle, meaning we'll have a little bit more of a spread when it comes to the teams, and probably not any hot drops, but you know, you never know, actually. You never know. We might get some hot drops. Because why not? Why not just spice things up a little bit, you know?
We love the early game engagements. We love that action train starting from the get-go. And I mean, teams, if they've got their drops established and where they want to go and how they want to play on a map, why should they change? If they can win the fights, they're going to stand their ground and fight. But we are already, 18 games into this season? So I think dominance would have been asserted on most of these big drop spots already.
You would think so, but you know, they are spicing things up from game to game, and sometimes they just do the most unexpected things. We do have a circle that is a little bit more towards the eastern side this time, but I mean, it's a pretty normal circle. And looking on the teams here, Influence Rage, they do have El Al-Sahar by themselves. They can get themselves a pretty decent spot straight away. Same with Nova, taking the center there of the circle, basically. They can choose wherever they want to go. They do have Minutes for himself. Looks like they have Graveyard as well. On the east, you have Rice coming into the game as well. They were sitting out in the first one, so great to see both Rice, Esports, and Influence Rage in this one.
Yeah, of course, we've got the next set of lobbies. As you can see down below, in the bottom left of the screen, Team QUESO already getting looted and booted and getting into those cars. Thinking about rotations early is always good, and I think they've spotted someone in no man's land with no vehicle and no guns, and I think this is going to be an easy point. But what can the Honoured Souls player do here? Just trying to evade, stay out the lines of sight, and is the pet going to give him away? Oh no, it did! No!
Oh. No, wait. No, they know.
They heard. They must have heard. The pet gave him away, surely.
Jump into the car!
Oh, no.
That was some good dodging from GC God, though. Not gonna lie. He did a really good job when it came to that, yeah. I'm quite surprised that QUESO went for it that hard, though.
Yeah, just giving the rest of Honoured Souls time to loot up, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Just going to try and keep it going. But the Winchester and what's that? Tommy gun in hand.
Yeah, and that's basically all he got. No armor, no helmet, no backpack. So not sure about the looting itself.
Yeah, not sure about taking the engagement. He got the Winchester in hand and kind of went up to the road thinking about it, and then went, you know what, this is probably a bad idea. They've already got guns, and I've got nothing to protect me from those bullets.
Yeah, and he thought about it again. Actually, okay. No.
They're just on a rampage.
Going for the next team here. QUESO. No mercy. They just going team after team.
I love it though. I'm all about teams when they get into that we are fragging and they just send it around and take every engagement. I love to see that kind of PUBG momentum.
I'm not sure about their rotation though. So they rotated from inside a circle all the way out to Monte Nuevo. Just to loot, I guess. And then they're gonna go back in.
Maybe they obviously spent a little bit of time on that engagement and realized that we don't actually have the gear or a prime looting spot. They're going to need to do some looting, and unfortunately they don't have the intel to go anywhere in zone where teams have already had time to loot up, so they're just going to go as far away from zone as they can, get looted, and then potentially take one of the very, very long wraps around potentially the south road coming up all the way by Puerto Paradiso. But since they're taking fights like that, I think they'll just send it straight in.
I mean, looking on the map right now, you can see there's a lot of teams that is basically along the circle, first circle there on the western side. That means a lot of the teams are going to get congested over there, and it's like a knock-on effect there. We might get ourselves some early action, and a lot of teams trying to third party as well because they're all so close to each other. And right now, Nova is in the center. They still have Minas for himself. No one is even close to them. Rice is still in Impala. Influence Rage is still in Alzar. And except for that, everybody, all the other teams are basically on the edge of the first circle.
Yeah, that edge is going to be, like you said, very congested. And I think you're right. It will have a domino effect because as soon as one fight starts, everybody's within earshot of one another. So we start to see the kill feed. We start to see the eliminations coming through. The team closest is going to get in. Oh, no, Alpha 7. They're going to lose one, and Bionic is the one that's going to punish him on this high ground as well. It's a really strong position up here. But it does look like there are none of Alpha 7 even close enough to get the refrag or trade here. And they're just going to continue on their rotation. That's sad for Alpha 7, considering that they had some good team fights last time. We got some good points on the board. But it's not going to do any favors for them trying to catch up to VIVO.
Yeah, no, indeed, that's going to hurt them a little bit. But at the same time, Alpha 7 is one of those teams who can play free man very strongly. Like, it doesn't really matter. They're gonna keep on playing like they were 4-man up, and they're going to still put points on the board. So it shouldn't matter. We'll have to wait and see what they're going to be doing here in the continuation of the game after losing Mafioso, of course.
Yeah, and sometimes that confidence in playing as if you're a 4-man, that's why, you know, a team can make themselves seem bigger than what they are. And that's why we see some of these teams so far in front, is because when they're a 3-man, when they're a 2-man, or when they're a 4-man, they make them seem like they're a small army.
Also, usually when you're 4-man, you're a little bit more confident to take the fights itself. Well, we'll see the teams kind of like when they start going down to 3 or 4 person on the team, they're going to try to start snaky a bit more, playing way more passive. They don't even want to engage the fights. But Alpha 7 is one of those teams, they don't really care. They're going to take every single fight they can. It doesn't matter what's in front of them. They're just going to try to go for it anyway. Because they want those points. They want the eliminations.
Yeah, again, confidence is like an extra man, really. And it does look like Honored Souls, well, that solo player has been spotted out, and it is a full wrap as the team rotating in, all men coming in, and now just dumping that utility and trying to get rid and reveal the location of Honored Souls.
Yeah, they definitely have a clue that someone is here. Nino has been sitting here, hasn't made any sound. I think what gave him away is probably a vehicle that he rotated in with, or that they saw him rotate in there. But they're trying to clear out right now. Let's see if they're going to find him. Nino does have a UMP, so it is good, but he would prefer something better like a shotgun right now, I feel like.
Yeah, that DVS ringing out and singing its song. It's so terrifying, even as a sweeping team with more numbers trying to find that rat player in a building. You hear that DBS go off and you're like, no, I'm all right. I don't want to go up those stairs anymore.
Indeed, you don't want to put someone who's holding you with a DBS.
It's terrifying. I hate the noise of it when I'm coming up into a building.
The backup has arrived though. So
Ooh.
Ninu's teammates are just behind right now.
They got the high ground there as well.
Yeah, and they're all in the blue, so it doesn't really matter. Like, what they can do is that Ninu can actually bail out on their side and make sure that he has cover while he's working his way to the rest of his teammates. But so far, he's holding ground, trying to grab some more information. He's hearing a lot of footsteps, so there's some information that he's relaying to his teammates right now.
Yeah, those sound cues are huge. And of course, Nino hasn't moved at all either. He's just not giving anything away here. And now the information is going to be fed. Oh, they're thinking about stealing his Murado. And he says, no, thank you. As that backup up on the hill was just going to pluck M2M straight out of that vehicle.
Gotta be careful, though. Baby Rods. Now he's the one in trouble here. Trying to bail out on the front side.
His team have just left him as well, by the looks of it. They've gone back down further. They backed away. And I think that was because the Overwatch from Honored Souls came in. They are thinking about coming back. They got the vehicle and it's just going to try and be a quick escape. Oh my god, the nade nearly spots him out there.
Oh,
but now just holding the angle yet.
Oh, that's a good nade.
That's
a little bit overcooked. Or not cooked enough, sorry. Third one.
He's just running at him with a nade.
Okay.
Oh, doesn't win the fight though. Baby Rods is going to get one and confirm that out. Elimination on the board. And now bringing things to a bit of an even man count. Actually, no. Holland Souls had already lost a player. Nino,
yeah, they lost GC God in the beginning.
Nino, although he's held on for so long and he managed to get the rest of his team here and get the frags on the board, Power's switching around and we can see the big bolty, the K9 in hand here, and that can be a game changer, especially when you've only got 2 players to worry about.
Look at Watcho though. He only got bandages left right now. So looking at things, they don't have too much heals. Montalia also have only bandages. So they can't stay here forever. The big question is how much meds does Orange Souls have right now compared to BULUC CHABTAN? The one with most meds are the one who can hold out the longest here. Because both of them are still in the blue here right now.
Yeah, it comes to the point where you've got to think about, is this fight worth it? And do we just back out? And I don't think either team wants to do that. They want to get the points. But look at this. BULUC CHABTAN have gone around and now they're tightening the trap. They're going up to the high ground. They're taking the position that Honor Souls had. But no kills, no knocks coming through. Just patient, holding, waiting for anyone to make a mistake while Montagna goes around the back. Maybe doing huge work here. Just managing to get them off his back. We can hear the mollies going off around in the background, and that building is going to become very uncomfortable very quickly.
But once again, though, Watcho, Montoya, only bandages, and you can see this. They're going to take the time. They need to heal up slowly. And this is the problem. He's just going to be one shot because he doesn't only have the bandages left. And same thing with Montoya. That's a little bit further away. With Rodso, he does have 2 more first aids to use. But will he be found before? Oh, they found him. He's taking low. He's gonna need to heal straight away now. They know that. They know they put pressure on him. They found Montoya as well. Rods does get the first hit off. This is some desperate sprays now. Nino got the first hit off. Pedrinho tried to get a first hit off as well. They both got it off. Now, Rods got 1 first aid left. He need to make something happen here. If he plays this passive, he could potentially lose this.
Yeah, he needs to take the aggression. That on Souls players dancing around the outside of the building, giving him all the indications, but he's not peaking it. And they're actually going down to pretty low HP here. And we can see that, they're jumping up. They're just trying to bait work and use that numbers game against him. And he's just dancing around. He's making them burn through their HP and those first aids. Oh, but not for much
Oh.
longer. What a drop shot. And it is going to be Nino, the one to clutch that out. The one that started it all is the one to finish it.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I tunneled on that fight for so long. I forgot that we had a full game going on right now and what's happening. So the circle, a new
There are
circle
other
popped.
teams.
Yeah, a circle popped. It went to the southeast this time, and Black Dragons now fighting INCO here. And these teams, they are inside the new circle. They are in a good spot as well, so they want to have this. Winning this fight could be huge for both teams, but a lot of casualties on both sides right now. Only knocks though, so could still be revived.
Yeah, prime real estate, and it is a big fight as location. Oh, great from Duck there. He managed to take down another one, but look at
The
this.
third party.
And this game in third party coming in. It doesn't matter. It's not Sandhawk, but look at this. They're sending it in vehicles. They've seen how many people are knocked, and they are just getting involved. They want this real estate, and they want each and every one of those kills, eliminations from both teams. Oh,
Another knock there. Now it's
Not
starting to
very
look
huge.
real rough. God, can you get that revive? That's a big question. There, you can see them going for flushes, securing those points now, as they're both understanding that they're getting third party. Nenebede goes down as well.
ruthless clearing here from ENXAME
Wait.
Gaming.
Fabricio went down to his own Molotov. I hope he doesn't die from that now. Because look at this. Black Dragons got the revives. They recovered. They've healed up. And they're going for this now. They are the ones pushing now.
They've reset and they are thinking about taking the fight. They do have 3 eliminations in the back pocket, and it does look like just the concrete building has been secured. They've actually not tried to take on more of the fight with Black Dragons, which is odd because they had the numbers advantage, and they've just, I think, only 1 point in their back pocket after that whole systematic crash and clear.
I think it came down to Fabricio because he got knocked by his own Molotov. If that didn't happen, I think they would have continued pushing. But with that, him being knocked, it wasn't really
It took the momentum out of the push, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because you only have 2 players that will be pushing them. The third one is going to be reviving, and the fourth one is already knocked. So it's not a good push, and therefore they said, all right, let's just hold our ground for now, and let's see if we can reset this, get an initial knock, and then we'll try to make a new push down. Oh, that's a
great
good Molotov.
Molo.
There's the knock. Let's see
Coming in.
if they're going to be pushing on this one.
Defensive utility coming out from the Black Dragons as
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
as we can see them coming forward, surging as a unit, just holding the line.
Oh,
Duck's
good
done so much
nade
work.
for Talents.
Oh, great nade. One goes down, but still the numbers game firmly in the favor against Black Dragons.
Wait, did I just see?
Influence.
Yeah. So, okay. Now, they're getting third party here. Actually, Team QUESO is third party. All right. A little bit all over the place right now. I mean, the circle is small. That compound is right now the center of the new circle, basically. So, a lot of teams do want to get inside that, including Team QUESO that is west of it. Green Barbecue Lovers. Joey does find McGrellin, but gets traded from Cielo straight away. Oh,
Big
Kindness
shots
trying to steal that one.
VIVO, 1 player down, 1 player out already, as it looks like the 2-man. They're just going to dip on out of this fight, and that, again, is going to be a huge decision from them trying to get into the next circle, leaving the fight, leaving to fight another day, getting those placement points and resetting further in zone where they can actually just keep Korean Barbecue Lovers.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a death valley there now that they need to pass through. Adrian does go down. Cielo's taking a lot of hits as well. He's actually going to go down, and that's going to be VIVO keyed out. They got a little bit of backstab. They didn't expect that one, but hey, sometimes you just got to expect the unexpected.
Oh, that M249 with the 6X on just laying down the shots. And Nova have got a beautiful wrap here on the junkyard. Multiple lines of sight, the high ground, and they are just going to rain hellfire down on Korean Barbecue Lovers here.
Yeah, they got so many angles to work with here. Looks like Celix might be able to get away on the eastern side, but just for now, because I'm not sure where he will try to go here. In the compound south of Nova, you have Influence Rage. on the eastern side of the circle, you have Rise and Storm Gaming. This is what I'm talking about. So where are you gonna go if you're Celix from Korean barbecue lovers?
So
and
many
yes, last
fights.
man standing.
Oof.
That's fine one. He's taking out straight after that. Gets traded out. And looks like Rise should be able to get those revives. Oh, sorry. Storm should be able to get those revives up. Meanwhile, Celix taking opportunity. With that fight happening, he's just going to drive straight through all of them, waiting for the next circle to pop, see if he can get himself into a good spot straight away. Once again, look at this. The shack here with ENXAME and Black Dragons. This is going to be the center of the new circle again. And they are just loving it right now. They're saying, okay, guys, let's not fight. Let's work together, hold all the other teams out. And then in the end, we'll just fight each other and we'll get the first and second, right? That's a good one.
I like it. It's the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? They've just decided, right, we can have a truce. You can have the concrete building. You guys can have the shacks. And we'll just fight everyone that wants to come in for our real estate.
Exactly.
Influence Rage, though, up at Jungle, trying to lay the shots down. And I love this compound. But when the circle shifts like it has, it's hard to come out of here.
Yeah. It is rough for sure. North of them is Nova as well. They don't have a lot to work with in terms of cover, what they have in front of them. But they are pretty close to the circle, so they are one of the teams who need to move pretty late, if barely needs to move at all. Gotta be careful though, because look at things. Nova's trying to set themselves up just inside the circle right now. Infinity on the south side. Trying to figure out how they're gonna enter this circle as well. It's
gonna get knocked.
It's gonna be a lot of teams trying to play the edge on this circle. Let's see, Black Dragons or ENXAME Gaming that is already in the compound in the center.
Big shots coming in, but they managed to get the res off there. That's huge. As they try and set themselves up some car forts and just find any ridges and dips that they can play. A lot of teams are struggling for any kind of cover, and there isn't an awful lot. There are the ridges to the north, but they're going to be in line of sight for their next game here.
Influence Rage have been very quiet this game so far. Getting knocks, getting their first point on the board here for this game actually. Taking out Shifan from Nova, Law. Continuing this, taking out Dadim from Storm. They're basically fighting on all cylinders right now, fighting on every single angle. You can see it's not one or two teams, they're fighting basically 3 different teams at the same time. Oh, good spray. Kowski is taken down though by Kindness, but that's an easy revive. Just gonna slow down the push a little bit. They need to take care of QZ and Koi there, because they need to move in there. So few more nades. Blowing up that vehicle might be good. And
Just
after
take away
that,
the hard cover.
yeah. Okay. Let's wait.
That's
Is that a mortar? It was an impact nade, basically.
Cooked to perfection. Call him Gordon Ramsay.
Next, wait. Don't tell me they got Lil Boy. Well, I didn't see. Did they actually try to shoot Nova but got Lil Boy in the background?
No way.
All right.
Massive sprays coming out. Massive losses on all sides. This fight for the north is just going off. And I even seen one of the Black Dragons managing to steal all the way down at the south of the little shanty buildings. That's insane. But look at the circle shifted again. And it's the focal point again.
Yep. They are loving it. Indeed they are. I mean, meanwhile, all the other teams are struggling like right now. They don't understand like how they're gonna get in. They need basically to crash into the compound itself. But at this stage, if you crash the compound, you're gonna be stuck on a wall or two, and then you're just gonna get shot. Not just by the team who's inside the compound, but all the teams around as well. Since they are so compressed into the center of the circle, they are all gonna have vision on you, basically.
Absolutely. And it's that's what makes it hard, because yes, you want to crash, you want to get into that hard cover. The only buildings that are in the circle But if you go too early, you're going to be punished for it. Great spray from Law there. And is going to get Alan down. Oh, Influence Rage. They're waking up now by the looks of it.
They are indeed. But it's only Law left. He's going to be the last man standing. You have 4 eliminations. At least the top 6 on the top 5 on the board. It's going to be
Crash
back
came
rounds out. Couldn't hold himself inside. Next team to crash. And QUESO.
What a send.
Wait, was it just Mona himself?
Yeah, he went down to 4 damage, I believe. And after that, Team QUESO get absolutely annihilated as they crash. And it doesn't go quite away. Just enough damage by
Infinity.
But Infinity. Sorry, on the crash there, just before the bike hit, he jumps off and goes down. It was like a scene out of an action movie.
Yeah. Nova has worked their way into the next circle, actually, on the northwestern side. Law is taking out with a vehicle damage from QC, so we're down to the top 3 now. It's going to be Nova, ENXAME Gaming, and Infinity. Infinity on the southwest side. You have ENXAME in the center, and you have Nova on the western side here. And look at things. I mean, ENXAME, they got 4 men up. They got the center. They're looking pretty strong right now. But it's all about taking out Nova without getting third party by Infinity, basically.
Yeah, Nova have to move, though. The 3 men playing the ridge. Well, that circle was done. What it's done pretty much since zone number 1 and magnated to that concrete building again. So the decision to take this absolutely huge, but they need the opening. Oh, they're not even allowed to peek at this time as Infinity. They're laying down shots. Oh, it's just brutal here for the Nova boys.
Smokes coming out, and looks like they're trying to go with the offensive smokes, which I love to see. So basically, instead of smoking themselves off, they're smoking off their enemies and their line of sights, sure that they can push closer. Oh, good shots by Corey. Getting that headshot, a double headshot on Lux. Gonna open things up, but Kindness and QC is taken out, so Corey's gonna be the last man standing. He might even try to go for the healing here. I don't think that will be enough. Infinity does get
wasn't good enough, was it?
Does get Lux back up, so they're all 3 back up on their feet. Only 2 banners. Corey's gonna go out, and yeah, that's the top 2. Now it's gonna be a rough one. Look at ENXAME right now with their angles they have. They have a lot of they have high ground, they have ground level, they have left, they have right, they have everything right now, basically.
Oh, yeah, they've set themselves up for a win here. Well established early, all 4 up. And like you said, every line of sight, every angle covered, up, down, left, right. I can't believe he's managed to get on top of that double story as well. That's a horrible line of sight. He can play that and feed so much intel, and it stops anyone from pushing on this right side or the east side of the compound.
Indeed it is. We'll have to wait and see who's going to take the last one here. Let's go down, trying to cook that nade, but from the side, as we're saying, all those angles, it's working out. So Anjo has to find one, but he got a lot of work to do here if he wants to clutch this one out. 1v3, they know exactly where he is. 1 HP, does find another one, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be ENXAME Gaming taking home the second chicken dinner here for tonight. What a great crash into that compound and just holding it down. Basically the whole game.
Yeah, and the smart decision as well when they crashed in. Yes, they got the initial picks, but as soon as that molly come out, like you said, it stunted the push and they reset, they held it, and they thought about it. They did a really, really mature decision there, and they were rewarded with 21 points.
You might say only 6 eliminations, but I bet you that they have a lot of damage on the board. We saw them shooting a lot. They were trying to fend off a lot of people, a lot of the teams that were trying to get into the compound. So, real good job for them. Maybe not the most amount of points, but it's still a lot of points on the board. It is the most points from this game, and it is a chicken dinner on top of that as well.
Yeah, always sweeter when you get a little bit of chicken at the end. Infinity, though, just 2 points behind on 19. Nova as well. We saw them being locked out in third, but they still got a big chunk with 17. Influence Rage with 12. Storm on 10. Black Dragons on 18. QUESO on 8. And those Korean barbecue lovers, they got themselves 5 points as well.
Yeah, let's take a look at the bottom half of the leaderboard from this game here. And we can see VIVO KEYD. This is what I'm saying, right? This is one of the worst games they've had. It's still a 5-point game. It's not even bad. It is decent when it comes to other teams. So with that said, I mean, they still in the top there. No one is really catching up. The team that was closest to catch up was Infamous Rage on 188 points together with Alpha 7, right? And Alpha 7 got 0 points in this one.
Yeah, that's a bad game, and that's exactly what you said about at the start of the cast. Their bad games, they even managed to get five kills or 5 points even, and bad games for other teams, they get 0, and it's exactly what's just happened. The third place team got 0, and their bad game was a 5. So it just shows that even the bad, they're still getting points on the board.
Indeed, it is. Here's the team stats for ENXAME Gaming, who got themselves the chicken dinner. Only 1,378 damage. I was expecting somewhere around 1,900 at least. But I guess in the end, they were getting helped by a lot of the teams since all of the teams were basically surrounding the compound and no one could really breach it.
Yeah, they just set up a wall that could not be pushed or penetrated, and they held it down. It doesn't. They still, yes, only 1,300 damage, but those points are going to make up, the placement points for that chicken dinner are going to make up for the lack of the kill elimination points.
Yeah, and here we go. The top players from this game. 7, once again, with the top kills. We saw him yesterday being pretty hot as well, especially with that M24 in his hands. And then you have someone like Korean barbecue lovers, Joey. We saw him yesterday as well doing pretty good. And you have QC from Nova. Pretty staple when it comes to the good players getting a lot of eliminations, being on top of this board. And I mean, overall, this was a pretty decent game. This could have been basically any game in any tournament that you see pretty high level gameplay coming out. And that's the thing, right? Sometimes we've seen here in the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series that sometimes it's been a little bit all over the place, but this was a great game in my opinion.
Yeah, those big names remaining up there no matter the situation, no matter the games. But let's go and have a look at the overall.
In the overall, it's of course going to be VIVO KEYD still in the top there. Only 58 points now. Of course, with the Influence Rate catching up a little bit, we saw them had one less played game. They still have one less played game than the rest of the top 5 right now. So they can potentially catch up to, pretty good to VIVO KEYD here today. And then you have, of course, QUESO, MANDRAKES, and Nova there on 6 to 8 that is trying to push himself as well. One less gameplay, but they are falling a little bit behind. The big one is, of course, between INCO and Influence Rage on 2nd to 5th place there. Only 15 points between those teams.
Yeah, it's very, very close. And like you said, their Influence Rage, they're a game behind. If VIVO KEYD have another 5-point game and Influence Rage have a very, very good next game, sharing it, and then when they get their extra game to catch up to that 18 and they have a banger, then, well, that 50-point gap could come down a lot.
Indeed it could. Indeed it could. Now moving down here a little bit, we can see that it's getting a little bit more chicken dinners on the board here. Yesterday was only 2, I believe, between 9 and 16th. Now they got 5 on the board. You know, they're sharing a little bit. They're sharing it.
Sharon's caring.
Exactly. But still seeing a few teams without chicken dinners, of course, and towards all the way down to the bottom here. This is like a little bit mind-blowing to me because we have a few teams here who's I feel like shouldn't be here. Teams like Ardent Souls, BULUC, CHABTAN, ATON, Intense Game. Those are the teams that I expect a lot more from them being down here towards the bottom, especially with the points that they have. But you know, anything can happen. We're still just a little bit into the tournament. There's still a lot of games to go, and so far we've done 2 games here tonight. We got 3 more to go, but before we continue that, we're gonna take a small break.
International stock plummets as shocking truth is revealed about using Compound V to make superheroes. Reports show unusual trading may indicate foul play, with some investors earning huge profits off the steep downturn.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. We're done with 2 games, but you know what? We still have 3 more to go. And quite a spectacular game there on Miramar as well. It was basically just the circle magneting back to this compound time after time after time.
Yeah, and I think there had to be some point there where the 2 teams that had locked themselves in started to pay rent on that compound and to the PUBG gods, because that circle could not have hit them any harder every single swing.
Yeah, it basically just ended on top of this, that compound itself. But now, moving on to game number 3, we're gonna go back to Sanok this time to see if maybe have ourselves a new winner tonight. And well, so far we had 2 different ones, so I guess wouldn't be surprised if we get a 3rd one. But you know what? If you like PUBG Mobile and want to play with a high performance, you have to get a smartphone with Snapdragon processor. It supports HDR10, high contrast, and bright color depths, game quick touch, and much more. Make sure to follow Snapdragon Official on Instagram and Snapdragon on Twitter to get the latest news on performance. But coming in here now, we're gonna go into game number 3. It's gonna be Sanok. Now, I'm wondering what we're gonna see in boot camp, because in last game we did see Alpha 7 going into boot camp, and the thing is that we've seen them go away from it earlier, so them going back, it's a little bit of a surprise. Of course, they're not gonna be in this one, but on the other hand, we do have Influence Rage, which is in Group C, so I'm wondering if Influence Rage is gonna go there now.
Looks like it'll be interesting.
They will, yeah.
Obviously, you picked that out in game number 1. You said that you were very much looking forward to that, and I can't wait to see what happens. But that circle popping, we could see a repeat of game number 1 here, going on to that northwest island.
Definitely we could. Yeah, so looking at things, we do have Influence Rage going in to boot camp this time. Now, we're going to have 1 game in between, of course, before we end up on the last game. It's going to be Sanok again. But in that one, we'll have both Alpha 7 and Influence Rage in the game. It could be on Sanok. We've seen both of the teams dropping in boot camp lately now, and we've seen them drop there a lot before as well. Now we got some other fights here. Looks like it's V2 from ENXAME versus from Back to Back.
I heard that last night and I was crying with laughter when you 2 were doing that. I'm gonna try and keep it up, but coming off the back of a win, they are a little bit split here, so could lose 1 early. And of course, we saw them work and move as a 4-man to lock that game down. He's going to throw the grenade. It doesn't quite have the legs, but does come out of cover. Teammates coming up to back him up.
What is going on with that buggy?
This fight was directed by Michael Bay.
Wait. J-Money already got eliminated somehow. I don't even know when or where.
Yeah, and it looks like they only got 3 members into the lobby in the first place.
Yeah. It's been a little bit all over the place when it comes to them. But yeah, a little bit more hot drops going on. ATON here with the Z8.
We're managing to find one. Grafter is going to find another player, and Intense, they just back on off the hill. That guerrilla tactics warfare that we see, the poking, prodding, the dip, getting a knock and then running away.
That's a wide swing from Choco. Not sure about that one. It does cost him his life in the end there. So not any good there. But I mean, I guess he was overextending a little bit. He was in enemy territory all by himself as well.
Asta managed to get a knock, though, all the way downtown. Of course, you're using that Sandhog exclusive DMR to get it, but big shots coming back to 3x. Oh, no. Manages to catch Asta, the hero of game number 1 in Cal, is going to be taken down, but not flushed out yet.
Not flushed out. Still could be picked up. And this one has been going on the whole game so far. It's actually MEZEXIS and Nova down in San Mi. 2 teams that have been hot dropping down here before. And I'm quite surprised with the full squad of Nova there. Wait, I'm just taking them out one by one here. Z8, what is going on?
It's that guerrilla tactics I was talking about. He gets one knock, then dips back off into the forest, and then comes up from another angle up high, and it just takes another one while they're sleeping, looking for his original position.
Huh. Yeah. Back to what I was saying. Quite surprised to see the full squad of Nova gathered here, because usually they're all split up, trying to loot alarm meds, trying to go for the heal strategy. Usually it's going to be on Koi. Intense game, it's just continued hammering down on every single squad here from the look of things.
Yeah, they're absolutely rolling. They've already got 5 in the back pocket, and we haven't even seen Circle 1 collapse yet.
Yeah. Pretty nuts. Maybe it's their time to shine.
I am loving, though, being up in the hills, just raining down on the fights that they can hear, taking a name, and then just dipping back up and off. Yeah. I really like this strategy. Indeed.
I mean, you always want to have the high ground, but you got to be careful, though. Watch out and make sure that there's not any snakes around you. Now they got some balls of steel just driving around there and just like trying to scout out, trying to get someone to shoot at them just to get a little bit of information. Little boy here on the high ground, shooting down towards Demeanor. And sure, this high ground is not bad, but this is on the south side of boot camp. It is very far away from like the center of the circle. But I guess if they can get themselves some free points here, why not?
Yeah, 3 points. And Influence Rage, little boy, he's a monster. So he will take every 3 point he can get. It doesn't matter about the range. It doesn't matter what he's got in his hand. We have seen him do some insane things over the last few seasons. I think he was even the MVP last season, just outright.
Yeah. MEZEXIS finally doing the push. But there's a lot of trade going back and forth right now. QC does go down. Rema is down, and Marco is down now as well. Kindness trying to push Jerry here. Gonna go around the corner, but it's not good enough. Jerry's gonna stand tall on that one. He's gonna get at least one revive there. And MEZEXIS is gonna win that one, which means that this is kind of the first game, one of the first games ever, that we won't see Nova trying to heal up towards the end. An intense game. They just continue to plow down the enemy after enemy. Now on the 7 eliminations on the board.
Yeah, and more importantly, the high ground that they've taken at this compound right by the river, no matter where the circle shifts now, they are set up, ready to go. They can instantly go across the bridge if it does go to that northwest island, or they can sit there and just rain fire down on every team having to come across from that island or from the south to get up more into the zone.
Yeah. And I mean, with that first circle, right, it is a lot of warding play. It's basically 40% of the circle is basically warding, maybe even 50 if you count the rivers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Team Mandrakes,
yeah,
one of the teams coming in from the qualifiers, and they've been doing really good. They've been surprising me of how good they've been performing. Of course, we saw them fall short earlier today, but I mean, overall, they have some good strategies in the book. They have shown us time after time that they can compete with the big boys here.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate. Alpha 7, they just had the angles. They were just ready for it, and unfortunately, the Mandrakes fell short, like you said, in game number 1. But they managed to rotate over to that northwest island, pretty much unimpeded, and they're going to be able to set themselves up nice and early here, and it's looking good for them in this game. They're setting the foundations down for a big game.
Indeed they are. Indeed they are. And looking at it, they're hoping at least that the circle is going to go back to the Northwestern Island, just like the first game we had. But no matter what, I mean, they're in a pretty decent spot with how the circle is looking. We're going to have to wait and see, of course.
Yeah, of course, that zone's still coming in. But what you said about 40% of it being water, realistically, this is like a phase 2/3 circle from the get-go. Oh, that same trap that we saw in game number 1, near enough, just waiting on the outside walls. Rise, they are going to get the first knock, and that's Nunes on it to the Honored Souls. Not close enough to refrag or even save the flush here. I don't think. Gary, though, just jumping over the wall, trying to get a little bit of damage and confirm that up, but not putting himself in harm's way for long enough because they don't know where the rest of the Honored Souls are.
Yeah, I mean, good one. Just securing that one. Don't need to care about where he's going to be crawling to if he's handing out any information to his teammates. But it looks like Rice is going to say, all right, enough is enough. We did get one elimination. We weakened them. Now it's time for us to move in because Circle 2 has popped. We can see that it kind of centers up, which means that we're still going to have the Northwestern Island, but also the main island in play as well. And it's going to be a rough one for them to choose which side the teams want to be playing this one from.
Yeah, of course, that's the thing. It makes it a little bit awkward because still you don't know where it's going to end, but you have to make a decision and you have to kind of get yourself set up. We saw how powerful the high ground was. We saw how powerful and long that central compound in the shadow of the mountain was. And it was because these teams made a decision to get there early. I do think this is going to go to that Northwest Island, and VIVO KEYD are going to be, is it WARMASTER? They're up top this time, actually.
Yeah.
So recreating what VIVO did last time and seeing how powerful it was, of course, being slightly further north does give us the prospect of a new and interesting circle, but this high ground is going to be powerful no matter what.
Oh yeah, that high ground is always good to have. It could be a little bit troublesome if you're up there until the end and you need to jump down from a very high height though. We saw that being a little bit troublesome in the last game or last Sano game as well. But now, as you're saying, there's a higher chance that we'll go to the Northwestern Island again compared to going to the Eastern one. And the teams are agreeing on that one. We're seeing them starting to rotate over to the Northwestern Island, or at least trying to make their way over there.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some interesting fights here. Nino deciding he didn't like that paint job anymore and just deciding to get rid of that vehicle as they are continuing their fight with Rise, who have taken the high ground. It actually looks like Honored Souls have leapfrogged just in front as they're now closest to the river, and they can start to gatekeep and oppress Rise here, which is going to be a bit sticky because, of course, we both know now that that circle is probably going to shift over to that Western Island. I'd eat my own hat if it does come back, but I'm willing to risk that. But yeah, leapfrogging them and making it hard for them to gatekeep might be a nice bit of revenge here for Gary taking out one of their own.
Yeah, I mean, there is still, look, I'm going to be honest, there's still a high chance it will go to the East Island. With the amount of hardship that we've seen, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we see that. Now, little boy, let's get knocked by Team MANDRAKES. Looks like they're going to be able to get that revived straight away. Ooh, WARMASTER getting involved as well into this one.
That's a real long-range shot as well, and just putting even more pressure on these teams fighting on the beachfront. Influence Rage moving up. Little Boy does manage to get picked back up, and they've consolidated somewhat as a 4, but still doing their due diligence. Just 2 players concentrate on the Mandrake team, and then we can see the other players just scouting around, making sure that third party that we know and love on Sandhawks, well, we don't love it, but isn't coming in from anywhere else.
Yeah. WARMASTER set himself up pretty nicely on the top, though, what we saw VIVO KEYD in the previous Sandhawk game. He got himself a 1-1-1-1 split, basically box formation. And it is really nice to see. That's kind of how you want to hold it, but it's also the hardest way to hold it because the backup might be very delayed sometimes, considering there's a big gap between all of the players. But as you can see, they're covering everything. They know that no one is in between them right now as well. So if they just keep an eye out and make sure that no one can breach them, it's going to be really good. And with that new circle, of course, as well, they're still going to have that high ground. They're still going to have the whole thing to play with. And if they can hold that, they're basically going to be forcing all the other teams to be fighting each other in those compounds all around the high ground.
Yeah, it's good because, like you said, they know pretty much that their backs are clear unless anyone goes for a really, really wide rotate. That high ground and that box formation, they're going to be able to get info from every side of this circle, and it's just so good how they got themselves set up. You're still seeing a lot of teams lingering, though, on the main island, and I think they're just trying to play late, hoping that the lobby will do the work for them as they come in, and they can also get that intel of where the shots are coming from.
Yeah, you don't want to rotate too early, or you're just going to get shot. Not just from behind, but from inside the circle as well. So you got to be very correct with your timing when it comes to the rotation. That's why we see a lot of teams like hesitating a little bit if it's the right time or not. But then again, you have teams like Influence Rage who's just like holding the edge here. They're holding the water. They know there's going to be people that still need to cross this somehow. But they want to make sure that they're not going to be crossing straight into them and coming up behind them in the water there. So they're going to try to force them away, try to force them to the south or the north instead, where they have to fight some other teams.
Rise coming over. Asta. We saw Asta do some heroic things on a slither of HP next time, but they are just watching. They know that people are going to be coming over, and I don't know if they've got eyes on this swimming rotation coming over from Rise here.
No, it looks like Asta has not spotted out. And neither has Poppy. Poppy's looking more towards the south side, though. So it should be Asta's job to scout towards the north side. But this is the problem, right? Because Asta not really looking towards the north. And Rise actually went pretty far out on the north side, trying to come up from an angle that is going to be a little bit more unexpected. So really good play here from Rise. But they gotta hurry up a little bit because the zone is catching up to them right now. And it's not favorable to be in the water. Now we see, though, Mufasa closing in here. I'm pretty sure they are expecting people to be here. Rafinha is still swimming. You see Poppy is going to join up now as well. Asta has relieved the information saying, we get a push there. Let's take care of them. But he's still not going to move. Just going to hold that doorway. Let's see what we got here. Mufasa. Still not going to go for it. Poppy is throwing some nades, some random nades from the look of things. Okay. It was to the house outside of Asta here, so he knows that there is someone around it.
Might be just to cause a little bit of destruction as well, as Asta's not giving away any audio cues. Nunes now comes up and has been heard / spotted. Poppy is going to find the first one, though, so even though they're down on numbers, this could be a really good hold here from ATON, as they're just getting all the information. One comes through the door, two comes through the door, and instantly takes down Asta. Not the hero this time, but Poppy even sings up, and that is it, though, unfortunately. WARMASTER up high. They're going to be taking some shots down onto Infinity as well now. And it is just that box split paying off in dividends with that information that they're getting. They're going to be able to just lay the shots down, let everyone know that they've got the high ground, but relay the information. Okay, we've got a 4-man coming in this side. Okay, we've got a 2-man coming in this side. And it's just going to be so good. And then, of course, it takes a while to get up to this high ground, so they're going to be able to dip back on off and reconsolidate, bolster their numbers from whichever side the push is coming from.
I mean, the thing is, the new circle popped, and it's basically going to center up on WARMASTERs again here on the high ground. At this point right now, it is a little bit too greedy, in my opinion, to take the whole thing by yourself. With this many teams, with this many players left alive, you are 100% going to get served by a team, or two, or maybe even 3 teams. So you want to make sure that you're trying to take either the north or the south side, and that's where you want to be holding. And let people come in, let people join the high ground, and share that with the other teams. Yeah, I think that's the best success. That's the best way to go for if they want to win this game.
Mono with the spray there. So you got nearly turned on him, though. Did manage to land one shot, but that's not going to be enough. Team KEYSO got some high ground of their own, like you were just talking about. And they're going to be able to punish anyone coming in before WARMASTER even need to get involved.
Yeah. And if they could use that to their advantage, but they still need to keep an eye on them from time to time. But just look over and say, okay, they're still down there. That means that they are holding everything else. And if someone would rotate in just a little bit south of them or west of them, of Team KEYSO, then they would be shooting at them. And WARMASTERs would know that because they're going to hear it. Like this one.
So, big shots coming in as Graf does go down. And they are just lapping up the points here now. And it is just punishment on all sides for all teams that are not on this high ground. But Intense, they come in. Oh, good shots. But it's going to get taken down by WARMASTER as well. Now getting involved from that high ground. And it's just very uncomfortable now with all of these lines of sight to worry about. You can't take fights honestly. And you have to check every single angle.
Yeah, that's a rough one. But, I mean, you only got yourself to blame, right? You got here very late. So it's going to be rough for them. That new circle, though, that's another one on top of WARMASTER. It seems like that is kind of the trend here for tonight. Just circles keeps on popping into towards, like, hard shifting towards just one compound.
TBS. Oh, that noise. And yeah, coming down mono. They know the last on the sole member is there, the DBS. Oh, mono goes down. That's one less to worry about. Hey, has to do the work, though. Has he spotted him? The sounds giving him away. And is the DBS going to be strong enough in this situation? The nade is being primed as he starts to surge on up the hill towards him. The nade not going to find the mark. That DBS just zigzagging towards. Oh, 1-2, 1-2. No, it's not good enough. But loops are there to clean things up. Team KEYSO will go out.
There's actually Demeanor is actually the last man standing. He needs to go on to the south and try to make his way into that circle because this one is gonna hurt a lot.
I think he just went down.
He just went down actually, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't really matter anymore. WARMASTER though, still on the high ground here. Have one play knocked and they're getting pushed here by Influence Rage. Make that 2 down now. And this is why you don't want to be split up here, because you are going to get served by a team like that. And it is just basically impossible for one player to hold.
It's that timing that we talked about. It's so powerful if you can hold it for, you know, that box 1-1-1 split in the early game, getting that information. But if you leave it too late to get together, you are going to get picked apart by a team that pushes as a 4 stack. And that's exactly what we're seeing here now. One by one, they're falling all at different hands. And that power play, that power position is now becoming their worst enemy as they've left it a little bit too late. And that is going to be that as Noons absolutely cleans up. Rise Esports collecting that and the high ground, but look at how many teams. We got 5 teams and it is very congested. And again, these high lines of sight are just awkward to play against. Oh no, the nade was primed as Little Boy goes down. Floor is going to have to move on off, and numbers just keep dropping very, very quickly here for us.
Very, very quickly, we're down to the top 5 right now. And right now, Influence Rage is the only team who has 4 players alive. But 1 is knocked. There should be a revive coming in. Yes, it does. Then you have MEZEXIS with 3 players. Infinity with 3 players. But Zoan is knocked. Again, 1 knock on that team. And a lot of nades are raining down on Infinity right now from above. It's going to be Influence Rage saying, we're the better INF team.
Law is going to get another one down, and it's the high ground. It's just showing how powerful it is here. But 4 teams left, and
Little Boy
comes to what a nade!
That's a rough. That's a hard nade to hit as well. All right, so we do have Nunez from Rise Esports. It's going to be the last man alive. You can see him there on the screen. Chaos is trying to look over here, see if he can find anything, trying to clear this out. I'm pretty sure he got spotted there. Yes, it does. Looks like it. Ooh. Ooh, Bears. Oh,
Ooh.
that's a bad one.
Oh,
He gets knocked.
Instantly swept up.
Wait,
Oh,
Nunez get
what?
killed by Aquilus from Infinity, and he actually gets Federal as well.
No way. We go down to our top 2 teams, though. 10 kills on the board for Influence Rage as they push forward, just trying to sweep and clear and find that last member, descending from the heavens, dropping down like Batman, and it's all over. Influence Rage, they collect game number 3, and wow, winner, winner, chicken dinner. They're going to be happy with that one.
They indeed are going to be happy with that one, considering it looked a little bit rough for a little bit for them. But they were playing it very slow, and in the end, I mean, they did get the chicken dinner. They got a lot of eliminations on the board. It's great to see. They were the team that was sitting with one less gameplay than the other teams, basically, and trying to catch up to VIVO KEYD. This is a great job that they've been doing. This is probably the only way they're going to be able to catch up. They need to have these kind of solid games. They need to get those chicken dinners on the board. If there's a team who's up for that challenge, who are able to make that happen, it would be Influence Rage.
Yeah, and we talked about it. The games where VIVO KEYD are not in, they have to have bangers to close that gap, and that's exactly what they've done here. WARMASTER, as we can see from the highlights, they had that high ground. They tried to play out the VIVO KEYD strategy, but just left it a little bit too late to come together, and then we can see Influence Rage just coming up and sweeping as a unit, as a solid hunting pack, and the prey was everyone in this lobby.
Yeah, a little bit too greedy from WARMASTERs, but hopefully they learned a lesson that they shouldn't be splitting up too much like that. Here we go, match ranking from this one, and it's going to be Influence Rage with 26 points. Close behind, it's going to be Infinity with those 15 points. Only 3 eliminations, and Federal was one of them after trying to jump down there, trying to get something happen. But it is great to see. Here's the bottom half of the match ranking, and as we can see, no one with 0 points. Even back-to-back gets another point on the board.
Yes!
A back-to-back, a 1-pointer for them. What a great show they're putting up for us.
I mean, you know, I said about the good luck charm of 1 point per game, and it's there. So now we're getting some more points on the board. We love to see that. Loops and Honored Souls, again, 2 names that we're very, very familiar with. They didn't get the points that they would be looking for. We talked about Honored Souls in the break as well, and they need to kind of step things up going into the second half of this tournament, because we expect bigger and better things from them, right?
Oh, 100% we do. But I mean, at this point, can they even catch back up? I don't think so. I think it might be a little bit too late. But here we go. Team stats from Influence Rage. 11 eliminations, which is not bad. But look at the damage, though. Only 1,500. I say only because we saw them, as I said, playing very passively throughout the whole game, basically. It was towards the end when they needed to push up to take control of the high ground. That's basically when they started striking on the other teams. 647 on the healing. I'd say that's pretty average considering how they were playing this one out.
Yeah, and I think that was right. They were passive in the early game. Obviously, that circle not really revealing where it was going to end until zone 3 with the split of water and the islands meant that, you know, if you got too aggressive and you banked on it being one side, you could be punished for that. But they played a little bit passive. They kept as a 4-man, and then they just steamrolled together when the time was right and they knew the circle was going to end. And yeah, not too much damage, but the eliminations plus that chicken dinner is a nice, healthy amount of points, and potentially could bring them back in to sniffing distance of VIVO up top.
Look at this, though. The top players, it's a lot of Influence Rage players up here. And yeah, I mean, it's not surprising, right? We see them getting that chicken dinner. We see them having the most eliminations. Of course, they're going to be up here with the damage and the assist as well. Little boy on 2, not all 3 boards, but on 2 of the boards, he's going to be topping that one. It's going to be the damage and assist one. On the eliminations, he's only, I say only, 5th place right now with those 3. But hey, it's looking good if you Influence Rage.
Yeah, I mean, two of the 3 boards filled in by Little Boy's name. He's going to be fairly happy with that, I would say. But now we can go and have a look at the overall leaderboard. And let's have a look. Of course, VIVO KEYD, they stay up top. But that 50-point gap has been broken down in half now. 4 chicken dinners for both VIVO KEYD and Influence Rage. They can do some work here, and VIVO KEYD, they got to continue those good games, because we saw they did have a little bit of a slow 5-point Miramar, sorry, and they can't afford to have too many of those, especially with Influence Rage playing and steamrolling endgame like they just did.
Indeed, you want to keep that lead if you're VIVO KEYD, but at the same time, what's good to have that lead if you're not going to utilize it and let people catch up? Just don't let them pass you, basically. That's the whole thing. As long as no one is passing you, it doesn't matter if they catch up to you. On the other hand, you have all the other teams that is trying to catch up as well. But right now, I feel like Influence Rage is the only threat to VIVO KEYD. And honestly, like, if VIVO KEYD could do something about it, they could take out Influence Rage pretty early on in the game if they want to, or try to do some damage to them. But let's take a look at the second page here with 9 to 16th, and again, it's not a lot happening. It is mostly towards the top where you see the shifts happening, because that's where you're seeing those teams getting those chicken dinners. They're getting those 25 to 30 point games, and that's what's making the shifts happen on the leaderboard itself.
Yeah, the big teams at the top getting those big point games is where we do see the shifting of the teams. But there are still a lot of teams. We've got the Black Dragons and ENXAME here sharing 127 points. It's all very congested and quite close. So I would imagine that this will swap around a fair bit. And all of these teams looking for another chicken dinner to add to the total to potentially bring themselves up into the top 8. Because again, there's still not all that many points in between the 6th, 7th, 8th, all the way down until about 12th here.
Yeah, I know, indeed, it is pretty close, and even some teams here on the bottom part of the leaderboard can still make it up there, but they need to do something about it right now, though. Like, you've seen teams being down here, and it's like, all right, well, it's not looking great, but at the same time, there is so many teams in this lobby as well that it's making things a little bit harder, because there's so many you need to pass. It's not just like, all right, we only have the 16 teams, and if you're towards the bottom, it's only maybe like 5 or 6 teams, and then you're towards the top 5. No, if you're down here already, you need to pass like 20 teams to make it up towards the top 5.
Yeah, obviously with the 3 different groups, it makes it a little bit harder and more numbers to chase. And with the teams that we're seeing be so dominant, they don't allow you to have those opportunities to get the points. But again, look at our boys at the bottom. They got another point on the board. That 11 is looking so damn good right now.
Yeah, they got a lot of points on the board today, for sure. I mean, it's been 3 games so far. We're going to come in with game number 4 in just a bit. It's going to be Miramar. But before that, we're going to take a small break, so stay tuned.
VOT International stock plummets as shocking truth is revealed about using Compound V to make superheroes. Reports show unusual trading may indicate foul play, with some investors earning huge profits off the steep downturn. VOT International stock plummets as shocking truth is revealed about using Compound V to make superheroes. Reports show unusual trading may indicate foul play, with some investors earning huge profits off the steep downturn.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. We are now through more than halfway through today, and 3 games down, but we still have 2 more to go, and we're gonna go back to Miramar this time, and it's gonna be interesting. It's been pretty interesting so far today, but I feel like there's been one theme, and again, it is just like the circle just keeps on centering down to one compound.
Yeah, it seems like it's just one place and it just magnates there, and whoever's there just gets rewarded so heavily. We saw it in the first game of VIVO, and then we saw that concrete building and that little shanty town where I'm sure these teams they just paid rent, or they've made a tribute to the circle gods or something, because they were just gifted and gifted and gifted. It'd be interesting to see if it's the same in game number 4, and if it's going to be a compound with some high ground again, or are we going to get some absolute chaos and it's just centering up on nothing?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, it doesn't really matter where you're going to go. Even if you go to the center, I feel like a lot of times we're just seeing those hard shifts happening, meaning that even if you go for a compound in the center, you might not be in the circle 2 circles away. So you might as well maybe take the gamble, just go for a compound on the edge and try to take the risk, you know? Sometimes it is high risk, high reward.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the amount of hard shifts that we have been seeing, and it does make strategy and playing your game and knowing where these circles are going to end so much more difficult, which then just allows chaos as everyone goes, right, well, that's not where I thought that was going to go, and then everybody starts moving. But we are going to get the sand between our toes once again for us, and I love a bit of Miramar.
Right, it is a good break from the Sand games, and what other way, you know, than going for some sand, a little bit of this shiny sandy color, instead of just keeping green all the time when you have those aerial and sand games. So it is nice change of pace as well when it comes to Miramar. A little bit slower, a little bit more rotations, more macro when it comes to the teams, and overall usually that has a lot more impact on a map like this, because that could put you into better positions. When we see those hard shifts, we see a team make those long rotations to the other side towards the hard shift itself. It's usually beneficial for them because they're not going to be as many enemy teams there.
Yeah, and it's just about trying to read the lobby and read what these hard shifts are going to force other teams to do. And it's that forward thinking. We talk about battle royales being chess with guns sometimes, and these hard shifts really keep you on your toes and that mind working fast.
Oh yeah, indeed. You know what? Let's jump into the game and see where the play will be taking us. Looks like we're gonna come in from the eastern side, straight across to the west, on a pretty low altitude here, or pretty far down on the south side of the map.
Yeah, it might get a very interesting and slightly different circle, which I am all for. I'm here for it. And it's we don't often see all too much of this kind of playing path, especially on Miramar. It's normally more vertical, and this is going to make for a very interesting one, since it looks like it's pretty far south.
Yeah, very far south actually. Oh, you can see here, it barely fits into the picture even. That's how far south we are, and it's gonna make things pretty spicy, and honestly we might see some extra hot drops because of it, because the teams are going to be forced so close to each other that despite you trying to go for vehicle, you might be contested for that vehicle, because there's like 2 or 3 other teams who wants that vehicle as well.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, it takes away pretty much half of the map with a circle being this far down. It takes away all those drop spots. Teams aren't going to be able to go to their normal spots. They have to go very much below, I'd say, El Pozo. Hacienda is kind of the curve for this sort of drop. So it leaves out Al-Azhar, Cruz Davao, it leaves out Campo Militar. The hot drop's already coming in Puerto Paradiso, and I don't think it's going to be paradise for one of these teams in just a few minutes.
Oh. Cowboy is gonna shoot a few bullets there. Just some warning shots. Saying, hey, I know you're there. I know you're watching me. I'm watching you as well. I mean, it's going to be interesting for sure. Look, there's a few spots like Valdemar as well. Looks like we're going to have 2 teams down there. And of course, in Puerto there, we saw that we had 2 teams. Picado, we got 2 teams as well. So there's a few hot drops going on there. And it is because of the plane itself. Like, the plane path is making it way harder for some of the teams to get anywhere. Now we see that back-to-back is going to be back in the arena once again. Last time, it didn't really work out. But, you know. Wait, no. Last time they got 1 point, right?
They got 1 point. They've got 2 1-point games today. Can they make it the hat trick, the triple? Well, they're going to arena and they're looking to box out another team here, but it's going to be INCO, and they are no team to lie down about. They are some great gunners, some insane mechanical skill on these guys, and not the easiest team that you want to hot drop in Picado.
No, that's going to be a rough one indeed. INCO actually started going into Picado pretty much mid PMPL Brazil. Before that, they didn't really go for that, but Picado was basically open and said, all right, we'll take it. Since then, they've been going there. Oh boy, and Lucas in here trying to go for it, and it's going to be Lucas in who's going to be taking that one out. Now, they are trying to surround him, though. So a little backup is going to be needed.
We can see, though, there is a player from the opposing team up on the high ground, and it looks like one of GZM are just sitting back, just trying to keep eyes on that. Like you said, they are trying to surround them, but GZM, they have the bulk of their players together, ready for that refrag, ready for that trade. And as you cast a net around, sometimes that 1-1-1, yes, you might surround them, but you can't retrade. And you can't get the reses off instantly. And the push is coming in now from INCO on the 2. Oh, the stadium, the nade. 3 nades there. Oh, 1 goes down.
It's all.
He's going to get a point on the board potentially here. The Molly goes up and over as he takes a big amount of damage. Molly not actually going to land the shots. Sorry, INCO need to get the res off here, and that's exactly what they're going to do. But the Molly coming out, that could be huge if it lands. It's going to actually it does. Huge points on the board for back-to-back. The boys are back in town.
It could be even 2 points that we're going to see here. Oh, my. It could be 3 points. Are they going to make it 4 points? Are they going to make it 4 points? V2, last man standing here for INCO right now. This has gone all but sub for INCO.
Let's go, boys.
The first squad wipe we see from back-to-back. It's going to be in Picado. And INCO, it's going to be the team who gets wiped.
Wow, back-to-back. They got the 2 points. They've just doubled it in game number 4 in the first zone with the first squad wipe. And you know what? I am so happy for it. That's the confidence booster that they needed.
I did not see that one coming, honestly. I thought it was going to go the other way around. But yeah. Wow. I guess even back-to-back can make things happen sometimes.
Yeah, I love it. I'm so happy about that. You always love an underdog story, and you know it's rough to see that they've had so many games and with that amount of points on the board. But more importantly, talking about it, we've got Black Dragons. We saw them in the compound setup last time, but they are now a player down already going up against ATON. Oh, and Nicholas is going to fall, and it's not looking good for them here. Instantly flushed out.
That's a rough one. Indeed. Now only down to 2 members. Looks like they're still going to try to go for it. Daxala is he's looking for it. He spotted Poppy. But the thing is, he doesn't have any other info on the other players from ATON, so he's got to be careful. They could potentially already be on the flank towards him. Mars says, you know what? I'm not down for this. I'm just going to start running, man.
He's like, yeah, let's see if we can get some more points late game. If we just dip off as a 2, we play passive. We find a nice little building to hold. We set up those cross angles, those crossfires. We can still get some decent chunk of points on the board here.
Yeah, I mean, indeed. This is a 2-play strong. A lot could happen with that. Ooh. This has been a long fight between Ground Zero Mercenaries and Z8. It looks like Z8 is going to take this one. Actually, you know what? No, I take it back. They're turning it around.
That is why you always knock on a door before just busting it open, because there could be someone there waiting to greet you with an Uzi. Oh my goodness.
None of them were ready for that. Okay. Ooh, a little bit of BM, but
A little bit of BM.
Yeah, they're gonna take that one home. Only lost one player. Ooh. Igor, that gets traded straight away though. Now Pudgy's
nice
gonna
block.
try. Yeah, he's gonna try to come in here from the flank. He spots Jordan over there. Question is, did Jordan spot Pudgy? Doesn't matter because Acid did spot him.
Huge retrades, but look at this. There's another team getting involved here, as we can see on the mini-map, and it's not going to remain all too peaceful as Intense. We've got 3 teams in the mix here. We see Nox on both on Intense Gaming side, but it does look like there's going to be more action going on, and it's going to be Alpha 7. They're all 4 up at the moment.
All right. Let's see what they can put on the board here. Damn, who would have thought? Back to back with 4 points on the board already.
It's like I'm looking at a proud son. But yeah, more fights kicking off. We can see the 3 teams involved. I think another one of the Black Dragons just got found as well. So they're not having the best of games. Just 1 player remaining for them. WARMASTER, we saw them be split for a little bit too long. It's like they've learned from their mistakes. Intense Rafa trying to get Acid, trying to get a little bit of revenge.
What is going on here? Why do we have 4 teams here in Los Leones fighting out right now?
I don't know, because it's fairly close to the center point, but it's not. I'm not sure why it's so busy. Maybe teams are just fishing for points, looking for points. Poppy finds the K9 shot though, and it's going to take away some of that resistance. Circle does shift though, and it's going to be La Bandita that's the focal point.
But this is the... if you look on the map itself, this looks so weird. You have a few teams in Los Leones, you have 2 teams up in Minas, you have 2 teams in Chuma, and then a few ones just a little bit spread out. But you have these congestion points right now, basically. And it's weird ones, like just in Los Leones itself. Like, why would 4 teams be here in Circle 2? It's not even center. Even if it was center, it wouldn't be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really relevant to where the circle is. Teams are just hearing shots and going, you know what, we want these points, we want to get involved in this, and they're just sending it to the fight.
Just gotta see it back to back on this one as well. I mean, they, if anyone, wants to join us if they hear shots. That's for sure.
Yeah, we'd love to see back-to-back getting some more points on the board, but Luke's is going to go down, not looking good, as they're very split. No instant frags, retrades coming out there.
Chief gets one.
I will shut my mouth, because that's exactly what's happened from Chief. He comes up and over the hill with the UMP in hand, looking for another, having to use the buggy as cover. Goes down to minimal HP and then gets taken off from an off angle.
Asa from the side there, gonna take him down. Toiko needs to take care of Asa there. Meanwhile, Kajosi needs to make some sort of rescue here. Gonna try to go away.
Looks like it.
All right. He's saying, I'm out, boys. See you next game.
Good luck. We've got Team Mandrakes up high. They've remained as a 4-man, and they're lapping up the loot now from all of that fighting that's happened. We can see now on the mini-map that teams are starting to break away from that congestion, from how tightly packed they were. It does look like they are still laying down some pressure, but it is dispersing a little bit as teams are now realizing that zone shifting, it's getting tighter, and those prime real estates. Oh, look at Minas. It's about to become a hotbud. Where we saw loops, there's another team coming in, and it's Alpha 7.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is going on? Why do we have these hotspots that is just like happening from nothing?
Oh, Pappy! Oh, bolts one of the Mandrake players, just absolutely decapitates him up there. Oh my god!
Peekaboo.
Note to self: don't play peekaboo with Pappy.
Cardosin still trying to take care of Korean barbecue lovers, and I think it's still alone doing it. Can't really tell. Yeah, because look at this. Oh, okay. He's getting picked up. They're leaving. Only one elimination on the board for Loop so far. Not really what they were expecting. But
not really what they wanted either. That fight came out of nowhere, and they were really punished for it. But Korean Barbecue Party, they've only got 2 on the board, and they're not living their best lives either, because now we've got Alpha 7 getting involved in the mix. These choke points, like you're saying about, they're in weird places. Maybe is it teams lingering too long before rotating that's causing it?
I don't know. It's just weird. Like, it's super weird right now, seeing what's happening, and it doesn't really make sense. Look at this. The new circle, it's got to be in the compound in the field that's got to be in the center. Now, is anyone going to take that one? Because all of the teams are basically on this western side of the new circle here now.
Big push coming out from Alpha 7. The Molly did the work, but no, did they see the player? That flick from Reva was disgusting to turn around. And they managed to get that. Mafiofo gets credited with both of them, and Team Korean Barbecue, well, they're eliminated, and looks like they're going to have to go back to cooking.
Back to cooking some good Korean barbecue. I wouldn't mind that, honestly.
Oh, no, I'm starving right now.
Right? I'm saying the same. So I wouldn't mind that at all. At the same time, though, it is still a little bit so, but we're starting to see the teams rotate into the next circle here, trying to find some place to call home and where they want to defend. But I'm more curious to see, like, who's going to take the center compound in the middle of the field, because that compound is so good right now.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the circle, because of all this congested fighting that we've had at these choke points, the circle is completely free and open. There's no one anywhere. It does look like we are getting a team send it into the compound that you talked about. Let's call that Navi compound. Well, I'm not sure if it's got the same call out for mobile, but Loop's laying down some heavy sprays. Is back to back. No, our boys, they're starting to fall. I'm not quite sure who they're fighting with.
Tense game, out on 13th place. And we're starting to lose people real quick here, considering this is only phase 3, and we're down to 37 players only.
Yeah, that choke point with everybody fighting has caused another one on Lab and Dita Hill on the west-hand side of the circle. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams involved in this now. And still, we've only got 3 teams on the east side of the circle where everything's free and open. It's crazy right now.
It is crazy indeed. Like, you can see anyone's POV we're looking at right now. You'll see some teams in the distance behind them as well. Like, they're all over the place here. Everyone wants to get back into this one. Back to back goes out on 12th place, but you know what? It's all fine. They got 5 points. They got 5 points. That is basically more than 50% of what they came in today with. Oh, yeah. Rema actually found someone with that need.
No way.
I don't think he believed as himself either. He's like, wait. I need to check this out, boys.
Yeah. I'm gonna back this up. I just need a little look to make sure I definitely hit that.
All right, that's I'll respect that. It's a good date. But again, though, there's so many teams there on the western side. Of course, it is like 70% of this, or maybe 60% of this circle is basically an open field. So you have playable area on the western side, on the southern side, and basically that's it. If you don't have a compound, there isn't a lot playable areas. And it's going to make it a lot harder with that circle itself, because if you're not Ground Zero Mercenaries or Mandrakes right now, there's one compound on the south side of the road. That is basically the only playable area.
Loops are being a real nuisance here for A7. Really putting a hurt on them. Just the 2 men up, but they are off. That nade, hello.
Actually,
wow.
You can also play on the road there that goes through the circle as well. Like in the middle of that road, there is a good little valley that you can play inside. Revo gonna try to get Mafioso back up. Actually, he's just gonna try and smoke you out and let him crawl himself over here. Not gonna put the whole team in risk. With the whole team, I mean himself. Okay, he's going for... Okay. Interesting. In the open as well. Meanwhile, the teams need to move. They need to make their way into the circle, and that's why we're seeing some rotations happening. On the eastern side over here, we got Ground Zero Mercenaries and Storm Gaming pretty close to each other. Both of the teams want this compound, of course. It's going to be one of the good ones to have.
Yeah, there's not that many people over on this side, so I think they would have probably scouted and realized that there are people here. They would see the vehicles because everyone would have rotated with vehicles. And if we're looking at Team Storm, they've got that Bolty, which of course can't open up, but they also have the MK14, and that thing hits like a truck. And it doesn't matter whether you use it as an AR or a DMR, it is viable for both.
Thing is, if you're Storm Gaming right now, you kind of want to make the push in this circle itself. Because if you wait until the next circle, there's a high chance that the circle will move away from this compound, meaning that you're going to be stuck between you're going to have ground zero mercenaries between you and the circle that you need to deal with. And then you're forced to move when the circle is pushing you. So you want to make sure that you make that move before you're forced to do it.
Yeah, you want to take the fight on your own terms, and of course with the circle, you're back against the blue. That's not your terms. That makes things a little bit more desperate and forces the amount of time that you've got to make the push before you're at a severe disadvantage.
Oh no, Martin. He is out, and that's going to be Black Diamonds going out on 10th place. It actually slowed things down a little bit with that circle and how many teams or how many players we had that had already been eliminated. Now, starting to take things back up a notch again. A lot of teams on the south and southwestern side, which is basically the playable areas, if you're not already in a compound, which is already taken, all of them, basically.
We saw Pappy get another Bolty knock, so again, living up to that peekaboo rule that you said about earlier. But MEZEXIS Dreams, they're still all four up. They're looking to apply the hurt, and as they sit on this southern side, and like you said, yeah, the south side is going to get a little bit more congested again, as people are going to realize that the only compounds and real decent cover is already going to be taken. Oh, geez, Storm coming in and getting involved, and it looks like it's going their way so far, but a 1-for-1 trade coming out.
That's not what you wanted to see. If you're Storm Gaming, on the other hand, Ground Zero is going to be happy with that one. They're going to try to get that revive. Storm got 2 knocked players, and Ground Zero has 2 standing still.
VIVO Key having it rough in this game. Again, we've talked about getting at least 5 points for them on those bad games is huge, but for the most part, they're in the field with no vehicles as a 2-man, and they've got teams rotating and knowing where they are, and they've got teams in the hard cover just lining them up to shoot them down.
Squash.
But Squash is living up to his name.
Actually, Diego is helping out.
Destroying here.
Oh, Cielo goes down. Now it's only Diego left then on VIVO Key. Look at that. 2 knocked players. One is going for a revive. Diego is going to try to stick the revive on Cielo as well.
That nade could be huge if it lands. Of course, they're all in just that little hay bale. And with the knocks there, that one nade could do the work, but it doesn't look like it's going to. Acid back up on his... And just putting a hurt down again. We can still see that they've still only got 1 player on the feet. So as one gets picked up, they're getting instantly traded back down again with the multiple lines of sight, making it hard. And VIVO Key, they're going for this. They've got utility in hand. Diego is going to get shot at here by Acid.
Oh. Can't believe he managed to get down there.
Yeah. The other member is right up and in the face, though.
This is... New circle has popped, and of course it's gonna go towards the valley in the road there that I was talking about earlier. Alpha 7 with only 2 members. Revel and Mafioso has been taken out, so they're gonna try to hold that one out. Storm Gaming is gonna be out on 9th place with 7 going out. Cielo is getting knocked again. So Diego, once again, last man standing for VIVO Key. This time he's not gonna be able to get the revive, since Cielo is very far back compared to where Diego is right now.
Zone shift coming through, just trying to lay some shots down to allow him to move before they can peek again, as he's not quite in zone. Does find another hay bale, but no! Jordan finds his, and that is going to be out for VIVO Key, and that is only a 2 elimination game for them. Still going to get some placement points, as the lobby has done a lot of work for them, and they're still going to get those 5 points, I think, for us.
They should be getting... I don't know. I didn't see what placement they got. But yeah, they should be close to 5 points at least. So it should be good. On the other hand, Mandrakes still in this compound. They are going to probably need to move out after this one. And it is a rough one to move out from. But They should have some vehicles. They should have a lot of utilities still to use. And right now they're trying to farm as many points as possible before they need to move. Make sure that they secure some points on the board.
MEZEXIS doing some work there as they got 2 players down, but still managing to get points on the board. Mandrake, again, though, rewarded. We've talked about that compound magnation for the circles tonight, and they do have a sliver of it in. But every other team is on the east side here. They're going to have to battle before they can even think about looking at Team Mandrake. And if Mandrake are proactive here and they decide that they want to get down and take away any power position in this circle while the other 3 teams battle it out, then they have every opportunity to do so. There's nothing for anyone to play, but they're all going to have to come up into the lines of sight and up and over that hill. So that little ridge on the east side of the circle is going to be the only strong point for literally the next 2 minutes.
Gotta still be careful though and play it slowly like they're doing. Playing really well. I mean, being 2 players up, but they still have 8 eliminations on the team right now. Make that 9 because they just finished off Marco as well. And now it is a top 3 as well. And we saw them lose. Both Dragon and Phenomenal lost out pretty early on in the game. So once again, Alpha 7, one of those teams who are able to do this with only 2 players up. Squash! That's fine, bro. I thought that was Alpha 7 kill, but nope, not this time. But now, as you were saying, Alpha 7 does have the cover to work with, but Mandrakes, on the other hand, they do have the vehicles, I believe, because they've been in that compound since they rotated in, and no one has been able to pop the tires, basically. And you can see, trying to move in already, trying to take some angles, trying to take you further in positions here, making sure that they have a little bit of control and try to force out Alpha 7 to stay on that ridgeline, and hopefully that ridgeline will be out of the next circle. And if so, it's all going to be in Mandrake's hands.
Yeah, and this could be a little bit of revenge. Obviously, we saw Alpha 7 rip through Mandrake on that Sandhawk game, and you've talked about them doing some great things coming in from the qualifiers. And this is potentially about to be a chicken dinner and more so sweet revenge for that Sandhawk game earlier on.
Indeed, it looks like it's going to go that way, but who knows? Again, Alpha 7 is just too good, so don't want to jinx anything. Don't want to prematurely celebrate anything here. We don't know how it's going to end yet. Acid, is he going to go for that crate? He might be going for that crate. I hope he is.
I love a little bit of end game cheeky greediness. The nades looking good. Revo just trying to get some nades back of his own. Mafioso just getting some smokes out, trying to break those lines of sight as he's coming up and into zone. Shots now start to come out, and Alpha 7, they are the one taking the damage so far. Acid gone. Did you get the drop? Did you get that drop?
He must have. I think I saw an AUG there.
Yeah, I saw the AUG. Yeah, as it flicked over.
So
good eyes.
Yeah, that must have been it. That was an AUG in it. And of course, the level 3 gear. So that's at least 2 members with level 3 gear. As you can see, Squash here as well does have some level 3 gear. So this is going to be a really hard task here for Alpha 7 because Mandrakes are not giving anything away for free right now. You can see how they're playing this passively, but they are just making sure that they have control over the whole situation. They don't need to be aggressive. If they go aggressive, that's how they can lose the game. If they stay passive, gather information, work as a unit, and just take it slowly, they're going to win this one. 100%. And right now, that's exactly what they're doing. You can see how forced Alpha 7 is to move in here on this circle. Mafioso moved up quite a bit. Still not inside, though. Revo, far behind here. Very low on health. And Mafioso goes down, actually. So just Revo just came in with a buggy, so they know exactly where he is. He was taking low. That's a good nade. So I can take him down, but that doesn't matter. You're just gonna finish him off with some guns. It's gonna be the chicken dinner to Mandrakes Esports here in the game number 4. What a well-played game from them, though.
Yeah, great patience and great decision making there, just to not force it. Yes, they had the man advantage, but sometimes we see the teams realize we've got twice the numbers here, and they push too hard, too aggressively, and it ends up being a downfall because they just fall into the trap of an experienced team like Alpha 7. But Alpha 7 played well, they fought valiantly, and they're going to take away decent slice of points as well. 21 points to them. Team Mandrakes, they get that chicken dinner. They get that revenge from Sandhawk, and they get 28 points to their name.
Indeed, it is. This one is very top heavy. Not only that, but Ground Zero Esports also get himself 18 points. And then moving downwards, it's actually pretty scarce when it comes to the points. But let's take a look at the bottom half of the leaderboard here and see, or the match ranking. We can see that Intense Game and INCO Gaming is going to have that fat 0. But you know what? We don't even have back-to-back on this one because they had I think it was 5 points in this one. So they were on the other page. I was looking for them here. I'm like, where are they? Where are they? Where are they? But you know what? We don't need to look for them here because
we don't need to look for them. They've stepped it up, man. They're in the top half of the leaderboard. That's what we like to see.
Surprising.
Looking down, yeah, we've got 2 teams that did come in with 0 points, and that's going to be intense. But we're going to go and have a look at the team stats here. And wow, that's a lot of damage. They sat in that compound and they just poked and prodded at everyone that came into their lines of sight. Wow.
There is some important damage as well. Not only are you like poking on other players, but you're forcing them away from some of the covers that they're trying to take. You're damaging them, making sure that you're damaging their armors, their helmets, making them use the health, the utilities as well, just to survive, and forcing them off to different angles to where they can get shot by other teams. So all the time, this damage from the Mandrakes is actually really good for them to put the pressure on the other teams.
Yeah, it just forced them off, and as we've seen on that end of the circle, there was no one to the west. Everyone just decided to loop all the way around and get onto the east side, and they were just rewarded with it. But look, Acid, 5 to his name, Squash with 4, and yeah, they just absolutely reaped the benefits from that compound. They put down some insane numbers, and look at the stats across the board. But Alpha 7, they're up there as well, and it's going to be Reaver with 980 damage, nearly 1,000 damage by himself. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they had a lot of trouble, but at the same time, they did really well. Let's take a look at the overall leaderboard and see how they did here. We have, of course, Alpha 7 and Mandrakes. Ooh, Mandrakes now on 5th place, actually. Moving up in the world here. Only 1 point ahead of INCO. But you gotta remember, INCO has 5 chicken dinners, and Mandrakes only got 2. That was their second one. So being only 1 point ahead, it is still great. They are still catching up towards the top. And towards the top, though, again, Influence Rage 1, and QUESO and Infinity towards the bottom there, 1 less game played than the others. So they still have a little bit of catching up to do here in the upcoming game.
Yeah, Influence Rage, they can really start to lessen that gap, as VIVO KEYD, well, they didn't manage to get all too many points on the board in that last game, and it is looking like they can close the gap here. So it's going to be interesting to see how game 5 plays out. But Mandrakes, yeah, very impressive from them, getting a second dinner on the board. And for me, it seems like they're going to be a name to kind of remember, as they've had a banger entry into the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they're going to bring to the table in the future as well. But so far, I'm really liking what we've seen from them here. Of course, sometimes they're going to strike out. They are a team with a little bit less experience than most of the other teams here. Some of the teams here are not just the best in the region, but also some of the best in the world. They've been competing on the highest level in the PMGC Grand Finals against some of the other teams. And you're looking at that kind of level, and some of the teams coming in from qualifiers. It's great to see that they managing to be able to put themselves up there that high onto the leaderboard. But here we go, all the way down to the bottom. Look at that, back to back. 17
I think they got
points.
6 points. They got 6 points in the last game.
Yeah,
not 5. They got an extra point. Let's go.
They got a placement point. No, they actually got 2 placement points. I'm pretty sure they had 3 placement points before. 1 more point, and they actually doubled their points today. That is huge. I want to see them. I want to see them get 1 more point there. Wait, they're not playing the last one. They made 6 points in the last game. Yeah, so they got themselves 1 placement and 5 eliminations, but they're not playing in the last game. So we're not gonna see them get doubling their points. It's close enough though. Close enough, right?
We're stoked about it. We're so happy about it. They brought it up, and they pretty much doubled their points today. So yeah, it's a good showing, but it is all going to come down to that last game. We are about to get into it, but before we do that, we're going to take a short little break.
We are back with the Snapdragon Conquest Master Series. 4 games have passed by tonight, but we still have one more to go, and we're gonna go back to Sanok. It's been some amazing games so far, but now, big question is, are we gonna get a hot drop in bootcamp? What do you think, Rob?
Oh, see, Alpha 7, they've been feeling it tonight. They've been dropping big points, even as 2 men. Maybe they're ready to step up to the challenge. Maybe they want to get that real estate back and just become the alphas, both in name and in spirit. So it's going to be interesting. I want to see it. I know everybody else wants to see it, but is it going to play into the game plan of these 2 teams to go head to head when they're both in the top spot? Well, 1, 2, and 3. They're up there in the leaderboard. So is it a wise decision? Probably not. Is it the fun one? Absolutely.
Honestly, like, the more you think about it, the more it makes sense to actually do this, because both of the teams are towards the top, so basically they're competing against each other right now. Not only, of course, in the game itself, but on the leaderboard itself. If you can take the other team out straight away, you get an upper hand to potentially just try to go away and just push yourself away on the leaderboard itself, because you already took them out and you could get a lot more points as well throughout the whole game.
Yeah, and we've seen that. We've seen the points when one of the split groups, when one of the big names isn't in there, it just allows the other teams at the top to get those high fragging big point games. And if, like you said, we've got the big teams in there and they eliminate each other straight away, well, it opens the board up massively.
Yeah, and I mean, talking about big teams and big points, you want to have those big frames as well. Big frames, a lot of frames. And to get that, you know, all you need to do is make sure that you get yourself, that you, I don't know what I'm saying. If you like PUBG Mobile and want to play with high performance, you have to get a smartphone with Snapdragon processor. It supports HDR10, high contrast and bright color depth, game quick touch, and much more. Make sure to follow Snapdragon Official on Instagram and Snapdragon on Twitter for the latest news on performance itself. That's exactly what I want to say.
Well, you were right though, because it's those big frames that win games. It's the phrase, it's big frames win games, and that's exactly what Snapdragon is going to bring you. So make sure you follow those socials, and make sure, more importantly, that you get yourself a Snapdragon device to frag out like all the monsters you're seeing on screen tonight.
All right, here we go. Last game for tonight. And look at things. We're starting off from the northern side. We're gonna head over to the east. So yeah, pretty northern play, but it's not gonna be too much trouble unless you're like Nova and want to go all the way down to Sami. That is basically cut off on the map itself because it's so far out. No one wants to go there.
It's a little bit too long in the air for me. I'd get bored. I'd just have to drop a little bit sooner than that. But we are going to get some teams. But you know where I'm looking, and I know where you're looking right now.
Indeed, we are looking towards boot camp, but it doesn't look like it's happening.
Ooh,
look
that's
at
circle.
Oh, that's okay. We're gonna probably go down to the southwest, but if you looked at the map there, you can see that Alpha 7 is actually dropping down towards Sami out of all the places. I was quite surprised with that, but we got ourselves a hot drop here. It's gonna be Rise versus Black Dragon straight away on the north side of the map. Rise takes the first one, second one.
This is twice in 2 games these teams have come together. Of course, we saw them in Los Leones, and it went exactly the same way before. Black Dragons go down to just 2 members. Oh, the BM coming through. Faster. You don't know.
Alright, so we had Influence Rage going bootcamp. Alpha 7 opted off and went for Painan instead. Not a bad shout, especially with this circle itself as well. Nova actually dropped super late, and they're going to the compound just south of Painan. So it's a little bit risky. Exada, one of the 2 remaining survivors, together with Martin, to run away. Oh, and Naxby Gaming here, coming in, taking off Bionic from Team Souls.
Point on the board for them.
A little bit of
a little bit of lag coming through, right?
Huh?
Did you get a little bit of lag then? Sorry.
No. Just saying a little bit of other fights here. But at the same time, it looks like it's slowing down a little bit. I think a lot of people are surprised over this circle Trying to figure out, okay, where do we want to play this from? How do we play this out even? Infamous Rage actually lost Kioski. I missed that one. So it looks like they've been pushed by Team Soul.
Yeah, you can see them surrounding on the mini-map as well. So Infamous Rage, they have lost one. And it's going to be interesting to see. It does look like Team Souls are setting up a trap, much as we saw in the first game, springing those traps and then just absolutely catching teams and members off guard. It does look like audio cues have been given away here. So Korean barbecue lovers, they're not going to get away with this for free and not being as sneaky as they thought they were.
Indeed. Prague cooking that nade. Not good enough. Deals a little bit damage, but Ace is still standing tall for now. It's gonna need to prevail this push though from both sides from the look of things. The backup is here. The backup is here. You bought enough time. Actually, where did the backup go? Here they come. A little bit late. Prague does find Ace with that nade. Gotta be careful for follow-up nades.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Prague does exactly that. And now taken away. The backup came. It was probably timed just a little bit too late, and now Sam's just gonna have to run off. I nearly said Sam the same as
Yeah, Sam is gonna back off from that one. It's a lost fight. Joey is heading south while Sam is heading west. So a little bit split, and it is a rough one to be split at. Actually, wait, he grouped up
He's
already.
just picked them up, yeah.
Okay. That's great. You gotta be careful though. VIVO KEYD, just west of them as well. We can see it's pretty evenly spread out throughout the map. Nova, of course, gonna have a four-way 1-1-1-1 split, trying to get all those first aids so they can do the healing strategy. But on this one, it is gonna be a little bit tougher because normally they need to move north or east, and they are normally outside of the first circle. Now, when they're inside, they need to make a gamble. They need to make sure that their backs are clear, that no one's taking any boats and coming in behind them and taking out the person with all of those meds.
Yeah, I mean, they could even set themselves up and go against the healing strategy here because we saw how fast, they pretty much had this island to themselves apart from Alpha 7, who have now come on over. And they could set themselves up and actually take the fight to the rest of the lobby if they get that high ground, if they get the high value compounds. But it's interesting to see how they're going to play things and change things up because they've been forced to do a different strategy here.
Indeed. And I don't know. It's just Nova things. It's too used to see them just doing the healing strategy.
Might catch them off guard, having to do something a little bit different. And this fight at boot camp has lingered on for a bit. Team Soul, so pushing the agenda and getting themselves into the buildings, just surveying the area as well. But Infamous Rage, they are spread out, they are ready, and they are prone. They know, of course, taking a name from each of the sides here, pushing forward. And it does look like Little Boy might be about to just relay the information and possibly have a line of sight here. Law as well, definitely going to hear that. Definitely would have seen that as well. As now the gunfights come and Law is going to take the first one.
Looking for the second one. King throwing some Molotovs out, trying to block him off from peeking again. Meanwhile, King is going to go for that revive. You see Little Boy and Law, they're both in Lobster here. Actually, Little Boy is just outside in the warehouse. He's pushing in now. They're retaliating a little bit for now. Trying to regroup, make sure that they get those revives back up. You see the push coming in from behind. Federal actually finds another knock.
Oh.
Now, it's only one man standing for Team Souls.
We can see Rise have just come in and they potentially won a third pie this as well. One left up for Team Souls. And now the big dogs, the leaders of the pack so far. How close are you to each other? Just on the rocks fighting. One goes down from KEYD. They're going to try and confirm that point out. But the cover is there from Cielo.
Cielo doesn't want him to get that flush yet. Wants to make sure that he can get him back up. But It's easy said and done, but look at this. Some great job so far. I'm wondering if he doesn't have any smokes to put out. Doesn't look like it, considering there's no smokes out yet.
Look at the net that Team Queso, they're just surrounding here. Shots now coming in near angles, and I don't think there's enough cover and fire here from VIVO KEYD, and that's not what they wanted. Team Queso get one, they get two. They're looking to lock things out here. VIVO KEYD, they answer back from the off angle, and we still got Diego up on his feet here. Just thinking about the next step as it's
McGrelin
brilliant.
finds another one. They might go back in for this. They got 2 knocks now.
Evening things up. It's 2 up on each side, and that is a monstrous play from McGrelin there.
You can
now
see
Diego trying to sweep around, and it looked like it was all down and out, but they've managed to turn things around. But no, Diego goes down as well.
But only McGrelin left. They're probably gonna back up from that one. Rice has pushed into Influence Rage here in bootcamp as well, taking them out one by one. I think there's no one left. Exactly, no one left on Influence Rage. They go out on the 15th place. Not too good. They had a chance with the team. They had one game less played than the others. But they could have potentially catch up to VIVO KEYD. But no, they did not.
Yeah, see, we talked about this, and VIVO KEYD, obviously, they're not having a good time of it as well. And if Influence Raid could have just held on, this could have been their day for the low scoring. Yes, we saw VIVO KEYD get a massive amount of points in game number 1. But the last couple of games, they've not really put some big points on the board. And if they'd gone out earlier and Influence Rage and reaped the rewards,
they're out now.
They're out.
0 points on the board.
If Influence Rage managed to just hold strong and carry on, this could have been the game, the day where they closed that gap on VIVO KEYD.
Yeah, it could have been, but looks like that's not going to be not the case. Not today. Now we got to set for new circle. And again, we're going to kind of move down to the southwestern side. A lot of teams are trying to set themselves up. INCO got himself a really good spot. Alpha 7 getting real close to Orange Souls now, though, in that compound. And probably a big fight that will be happening there very, very, very soon.
Yeah, looks like the shot's already coming out. Oh, what a spray from Swaggin. Oh, that's amazing. Just finds the angle on the window, and I like the little perch up on the rock as well to get that angle.
It's a good position here from Swagwin. Ooh, good nades coming in. Gonna do a little bit of damage to Pedrinho, but not enough to get him down, though. Swagwin has continued to push in here to the compound itself. Breville just close by. Phenomenal as well. Mafioso is holding from a little bit behind. Look at that. They're smoking off GC God so they can focus on this fight alone. Taking out one building at a time.
So that DBS in hand, though.
Oh, that's the third angle from GC God. From underneath the building. Doesn't get the knock on Mafioso, though, but tags him very, very low.
Then tries to follow up with a nade underneath. That could be the difference, though. His nades just start exploding all around. Or just missing out there, but I mean,
Phenomenal
it does
goes
go down.
You can see the rest are taking pretty low. Taking a lot of damage. Now they gotta figure out how they want to take this on. Orange Souls now just forcing this fight. Throwing in a lot of utilities. Taking them down one by one. Alpha 7 is falling here.
And that is going to be that. Really well played. Of course, Alpha 7 opened things up. Orange Souls, though, managing to stabilize in. And not only do they wipe out Alpha 7, one of the top 3, they keep all 4 on their feet. That's huge. And we've got all 3 of the big dogs off the board before we even get to zone number 3.
I guess they wanted to take out an early evening.
Yeah.
Round 0 Mercenaries out here swimming. All right. You got to be careful, though, because BULUC CHABTAN is just close by. It looks like they're not looking towards the water right now. But you still want to be careful with those breaths. Don't want to expose yourself. If one get exposed, that means that the whole squad will be exposed in the end.
Yeah, we saw how well, I think it was Rise with that big arching swim flank onto, was it Aster? And fellow teammate in the last Sanhok game. But yeah, as soon as one gets spotted, That's it. And I think that's just happened as Baby Rod's there. He's on the roof looking, and it looks like he's just going to go prone. He's ready for it. He's just going to line up those shots, make sure he's prone for no recoil, and then just absolutely open fire.
That's confirmed. It basically confirmed he saw Frog there. He's waiting. He's not taking the shots yet. He wants them all to be out there, but he also wants the rest of his teammates to be here, to be ready to take the shots so they can secure those knocks straight away.
Yeah. 3 out in the open now. The 4th just waiting behind the rock. Maybe he knows, but oh, it's just shooting fish in a barrel. They've timed that to perfection. They might be able to get the next one pretty much instantly. Baby Rod's doing great work here. And that's trigger discipline. That's game sense to know to let the first member pass and get the intel on the rest.
Yeah, it is really nice to see when you play it out like that. And this is a pretty interesting circle that we got on our hands. It's basically gonna be Tom Bang and Nakam here, but also Ruins. Ruins is pretty nice. You have that little high ground there on the south and the eastern side. That is pretty playable and pretty nice spot, I say, in this one. But a lot of compounds, a lot of buildings in this circle itself. And considering that we only have 8 people alive right now, there's a high chance it will go very slow from here on because of the amount of compounds we have in this circle.
Yeah, it just allows for more teams to get in, get locked down, and not really expose themselves in the open terrain and forest and hills that we've seen in games at 1 and 3 of tonight on Sandhawk.
That's Zara with those nades. Ooh. Oh, they find him. They find him. They're going to get the revive as well. All that for nothing.
Good nades, and it turns out that the nades are going to take him down in return. Infinity, they do have 2 members down, but they're going to be able to still put point at least on the board here by confirming this one out. And yeah, just an easy 3-point there. And now more fights coming in. Nova onto Storm, and it's going to go the opening way. But grenade, good defensive grenade just to back them off so touch.
Chief, I gotta be careful. Take him low, gonna bandage up before he gets back into the fight. Meanwhile, Kindness is going in, but he's taken down. He did get a knock on Dudu though. Koi coming in as well, getting the trade. Oh, he needs to spot 7. Okay, I think he already spotted 7. They know that he's coming from over there.
7 just choosing to dip on out as the rest of his team are down, and that's potentially the right call, but he's still going to run the gauntlet. He got him. Oh, no way.
Shifan blew up the vehicle, I'm pretty sure. And he got him.
What tracking. That was insane.
Yeah.
Team Nova, though, they're not even on... Well, it looks like they're on the edge of this circle, but they've got 5 kills to their name. You've got 5 eliminations before the healing strike needs to come in.
I was a little bit risky with them taking that fight. I believe Koi is going to be the one with the first aids. That's usually how it goes. Team QUESO got 7 eliminations. Pretty even when it comes to the eliminations right now.
Yeah,
even
we're not seeing the big dogs taking all of those points as they've already been eliminated in Team K. So, well, they took down one of those big teams and are going to continue getting that 8th elimination on the board. 2 members up, and they're going to start to surge forward into zone. But look at this northern side. It's getting congested, and so is the center. Team INCO, they've been proactive, and they've actually moved and sent it to those central compounds, keeping up that center theme that they've been going for so far this game.
Yeah. Lucas in. Trying to hold him off here. Last first aid. What can he do? Last man standing for his squad as well. Nothing is the answer. He's going to be taking out. That's going to be Ground Zero Mercenaries out on the 10th place. Did have 4 eliminations on the board though. So that's a few points at least. It's great that they're bringing something with them. With that new circle, you can see that INCO has moved into the center compound. Orange Souls just east of that. And BULUC CHABTAN taking northwest. These three compounds basically can hold more or less the whole circle except for the southeastern part.
Farsad gets taken down after doing some work there, and it's going to be flushed on out. Carrying with feet here, though. They're still up on their feet, and they have a bit of a greedy split here, especially for how many teams are coming in from this side and already have the central compounds locked down. As another one is going to be found. So Rise, that split being punished now, and it's just Gary left up on his feet to do the work and try and salvage some more placement points and potentially some more kill eliminations.
Yeah. Nova coming in from the south, finally trying to make their way in. And I mean, Nova could have a great game here if they just keep on playing like this. Sure, they don't have too many. It's only 5 eliminations on the board, but they're one of the few teams with still 4 players up. Them together with INCO and BULUC CHABTAN. But BULUC CHABTAN has currently 1 member knocked. I think it's Montoya who's not. But they're also having a little bit of a trouble here. With an ENXAME pushing them.
Oh, great pre-fire.
Oof.
Goes down to minimal HP. Infinity are eliminated as well as we go down to our top 7 teams.
Yep. New circle. Again, it's going to pop on top of INCO. INCO sitting there, holding down that compound and laughing at all the other teams and the circle itself right now.
Yeah, they were very proactive. As soon as that next circle popped, they sent it central, and look how much they've been rewarded. They're actually the only team inside the zone as it stands. Everyone else skirmishing on the edge, and it's going to be Honored Souls. They're the ones that are pretty much punished for this because they had that compound. They locked it down. They've been wiping and clearing on that eastern side, and now they have to move, and it's going to be a hard move, especially when we've got Rise coming in from the north of them. And then, of course, we've seen Nova locking down that southern and western side as well. So the skirmishes on the edge of the northwest are going to be where all the action's happening, though, and teams are going to start falling like dominoes here for us.
Yeah, this is, we're getting towards the end here, and it's not a lot of space for people to play. You can see this compound is great. It also has the walls, which is going to give you some extra cover. And there is a very slight chance, very small chance that anyone will push that compound because you're not going to have vehicles. This is Sanok. Even if you have vehicles, this is way too, the circle is way too small. You're going to get shot from all different directions, especially if you're going to try to drive in. You're just a moving target, basically, telling everyone, a beacon telling everyone, shoot me. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think this is going to be an easy dub here for INCO.
Yeah, and those walls that you pointed out as well, even if you've got vehicles, you're not going to be able to crash directly onto the building. Of course, a lot of these buildings have steps going up to them as well. So you've got that time that you've got to get around the wall, then get up the stairs before you're even safe in the building to take the fight to INCO.
Rafinha, he's going to be taken down by the zone. He's going to be able to crawl back in though. He's going to need some support from Gary to be able to get revived.
So
actually, the zone
risky
is
res
moving.
though.
I'm not sure he's going to be able to get it.
I don't think so either. Honored Souls taking the fight with Nova here. And it looks like they're holding their own for the time being. Shots coming in from the side. Nova are going to take 1-2 losses. It's going to come out of the hand of T-God. Koi now getting involved from range. Just losing that spray with the M4. And Nova, they are feeling the hurt here.
You see all sorts of trouble. He is taken down by Artusin. Look at that. Now, looks like Honored Souls does have control over the eastern side here. They do have a little bit more to take care
INCO
of.
coming out.
INCO needs to come
INCO,
out. They need to push
They
out.
hear it. They see the key. They see the kill feed, and they want to just clean things up. They've locked it down. They've been sat in compounds, and I think they're probably getting a little bit antsy here. They want to start shooting some stuff.
I mean, the thing is, if they wait any longer, then the other teams know that they're gonna need it. They're forced to move up from the compound.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you want to make that before it happens. Actually, I'll take that back. They got the circle on top of them. In that building itself, basically, the outer wall there is gonna be the center of the next circle. So with that in mind, he might actually try to force it back.
They are going to lose one player to a nade there. Not sure if it's going to be confirmed out, but Honoured Souls, they're not going to rest on that. They're going to try and force their way in, now gaining ground as they have actually gone back to the walls and the safety of that compound since the circle shifted back. Gary on the edge is going to have to wrap in as well, and he's going to make things difficult for Honoured Souls when they try and crash on in. GROZA in hand, the nade's going to come up and over, and it could be a good one if it bounces off that tree and hits. Oh, it's beautiful.
On the money. Look at Gary though. They have no clue. No one knows that Gary even exists there.
He's the sneakiest man on Sandhawk right now. Oh, Nade's coming back in there and putting the hat down onto INCO. They are going to be able to stabilize and get that res off. Oh, what an angle to find that.
Look at that.
Just managing. And now Honoured Souls crashing out, and it is going to be your man Koi doing the healing strike. 24 in hand, and he's got this down to an art. So all he's got to do now is just outlive the last man, Gary, and he's going to do that. But like you said earlier, this is a foregone conclusion. INCO, they have been proactive. They've taken compounds, they've locked it down, they played it to perfection for us, and you called it pretty early, my man.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty great to see, right? When your predictions fall in. Koi, of course, is just going to heal it out. He doesn't know that he is the last man standing except for INCO. And as always, like, he got like maybe 2 seconds to shoot at anything. He's not going to get a knock and a flush on that to secure another point. So this is just going to be a little bit of a stalemate here. So we didn't see the circle is moving. Okay, he's actually going to go for it.
He's trying, and he just wants anything. Go out in a blaze of glory. But it is going to be INCO that get the final chicken dinner of the day, and they did so in amazing style. They played that perfectly to the notepad. Checklist, center compound, center compound, center compound. They took fights and they lapped up the points. They only got 6 eliminations, 21 points on the board. Rise got 8 eliminations with 18, and Nova with 5 get the 17. So good performance and very close at the top. And even on Souls getting 16 points, and then we drop off quite significantly.
Yeah, pretty even actually on the top there. I think it comes down to how the circle was playing out, right? It was a pretty rough circle for a lot of teams. It kept on going down to the southwest time after time after time, forcing a lot of the teams who wasn't already down there to actually needing to move in. Let's take a look at the bottom half though of the match ranking here, and we can see what the points we have down there. Oof, a lot of zeros down there, a lot of them.
But what I'm looking at is it's a lot of our top teams. VIVO KEYD on 0, Alpha 7 on 1, Influence Rage on 3. Wow, that just puts the brakes on all of them scoring points, and it's not what any of them wanted, especially VIVO KEYD, because they had that 70 point gap going into today, and that's been brought down significantly.
Hey, at least they've been utilizing that gap, I guess. That's the whole point of making it. If you don't use it, why make it in the first place? But here we go. Team stats from INCO, getting that last chicken in the hair for tonight. 6 eliminations, only 839 damage. That's probably one of the lowest amount we've seen in quite some time, I'd say.
Yeah, it was just one of those weird circles, and with them being so central and having things locked down, no one really wanted to come up and over and into the lines of sight, knowing that they had everything locked down. So they didn't really get a chance to lay down the damage, to lay down the hurt until end game, and they managed to sweep it up, all 4 on their feet. And look, they only had to heal 450 damage as well. So it's a pretty easy one for them. They just kicked back and let the lobby do the work, and then just took the glory right at the end.
Yeah, indeed. Let's take it to overall ranking, and no, I mean the MVP first, and it is gonna be Coach Emmett this time. Great to see him being up here from Team QUESO, of course. And I mean, 3 eliminations, 3 knockouts, 1 assist, 664 damage. Not very impressive statistics, but in the end, it is still the MVP though.
Yeah, it was just a weird paced match, and of course we saw one team win a fight and then instantly wiped out. It didn't really allow for anyone to get that big elimination score rolling as we go and look at the top players, and it is going to be Seagod with the 4 eliminations up there, Team QUESO on the damage, and Mufasa on the assists there, but it's a very spread out and very fair kind of top leaderboard, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes, right? Most of the times anyway, so kind of expected in a way. And I mean, it's not too much to take away. It was a very casual, not casual, but very calm game that we had there.
Yeah, absolutely. We are ready to have a look at the overall leaderboard though and see just what that last game did. Obviously, it's going to be VIVO KEYD up there, and they didn't get any points on the board, but they still remain at Kings of the Castle. Influence Rage, though, 229 points. They've got their 4th chicken dinner, so matching the chicken dinner count there. And Alpha 7 just in 3rd, as INCO managing with that win to come up just 3 points behind them, but their 6th chicken dinner on the board.
Yeah, I mean, it is amazing to see that they're able to get 6 of them before, and they're always like a few chicken dinners ahead of the other teams right now. But also, you gotta look at things like how close Storm Gaming is, but also both Team MANDRAKES and Team QUESO just behind there as well. Like one good, one decent game, and you're gonna see both of them basically in that top pack as well. So it is still a very fine race here in the top. Let's take a look at the middle of the leaderboard here, though. As we can see, once again, a few of the chicken dinners here. Rice has actually gone up a little bit on the leaderboard. It's great to see. I was expecting a lot more. I think the other day they were actually down to basically a 20th place.
It's good to see, especially if you're near enough doubling up and getting up the leaderboard 10 places near enough. That's huge. And is that foreshadowing? Have they found their footing, and are they ready to take the pain and the race to those leaders? Of course, we're seeing it getting quite congested up there and quite tight at the top. So if they have a few more really good days and they really have found their position inside this lobby, then if they can jump for 20th to 11th, who can say that they won't make it all the way up into those top spots?
Yeah, I expect a little bit more from Loops, currently sitting there in the 12th place. But you know what? That is that. Let's take a look at the bottom, the overall leaderboard here. And we can see all the way down in the bottom, back-to-back, staying on those 17 points because they were not playing here in the last game. But they basically doubled their points tonight. So that is some great performance, if you ask me.
I think that's the biggest step away from tonight is back-to-back doubling their score. We love to see it. But we're going to go and have a look at the top kills of the day. We got VIVO KEYD Cielo with 10, Law on 9, and Prog coming up with 8 kills there for round out the top 3.
That is quite impressive from Prog. Ground Zero Mercenaries didn't have the best of the games today, but still Prog being able to put himself here on the top is pretty nice to see. And of course, a lot of familiar names on the right hand side there as well. A little bit of a mixed match. But you know, this it's been some great games here tonight, and I hope you enjoyed it as well, Kron.
Oh, I had a blast, and thank you for being the best damn co-host here. Snapdragon Conquest Master Series has put on a great 5 games, some insanely action-packed games, some quick games, and then just some beautiful team performances for us.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's been some real good ones. But that's it for tonight, and we'll be back on the Saturday, I believe. It's going to be the next time that we're going to be continued. So the 18th, put that down and mark that down in your calendar right now, and make sure that you're going to be here and watch all of those games. But we say thank you for tonight, and thank you for hanging out with us, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.